What is going on, everybody? It is episode 478 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my guest co-host for the day. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, hi, I'm Sara. I'm back for another day. Thank you for having me on again.
Yes, Mary will be back tomorrow. Mary has been over in California, sticking it to the 304s on whatever. At least that's what they tell me. That's what she's been doing.
Out in my stomping grounds. There's a lot over there.
Yes,
so
there you go.
She's got a lot to do.
or is it California? Yeah, it's California, right?
Yep,
It's
in
not
California.
Fresh and Fits Miami.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Correct.
And to my right, guest hosting today. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, it's me, Taylor Silverman. And I see some comments saying, Taylor's alive. We're so glad you're alive. I don't know what you thought happened, but I'm fine. I'm in good health, and I'm happy to be back in the PCC studio today.
Wait, weren't you I'm assuming you were in the last Cast Castle that came out. That can't be that long ago.
I can't remember. Did they kill me off in that episode or something? No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. Yeah.
No.
Have you ever been
But
killed off?
how long ago was that?
Last week.
Like last week.
So then what is with the whole she's alive thing? Of course you're alive.
I hope it stays that way.
Let's hope. we can only hope, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, but before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel? If you have not subscribed to us already, we are on our way to 75,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. Remember to turn the notification bell on so that you can be notified anytime a new episode or a new segment goes live. Also, remember to share these videos with your friends. I want more people to come in here and hang out in the chat. Come in here, hang out, watch this show. It would be good for all parties involved. Also, remember all Super Chats, $20 and over. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there. We will do our very best to get back on topic as soon as we're done. Doesn't always work, but we do our best on that one. So today we got a bunch of stuff to discuss. So Jonathan Majors, if you remember, Jonathan Majors was in deep trouble with the law not that long ago, and he's actually going to trial here soon. But beyond the charges against him, which were misdemeanor assault and harassment, he is now charges have been levied, and it looks as though the woman who initially accused him of the crime is going to be arrested because he had a counter charge laid against her from the same incident, and it looks like she will be charged today. Also, it looks like the London Police Department is getting involved. So we're going to about some incidents that happened 6 months prior to the initial incident that happened back in, I believe it was May, but I could be misremembering that date. But it was back quite a while ago when all this stuff happened. So we're going to get into that. We're also going to talk about the fact that Dillon Danis, after losing his fight to Logan Paul, oh, by the way, this is a complete aside. Last night, somehow because we were talking about UFC and Bud Light, and I could remember Jake Paul. This didn't come out on air while I was talking, but I was sitting there and they were talking about this, and I was like, Jake Paul, what the fuck is his brother's name? And I sat there for 2 minutes, even though we talk about him all the time, and I couldn't remember his name. It was just one of those horrid moments where you're like, I'm getting old. Does that ever happen to you guys? You ever just forget stuff that you know the answer to?
Yes, but I feel like if you've forgotten that might be a good thing.
Yeah, you know, probably.
So your brain's clearing out the least important things to make room for more important ones.
So Dillon Danis, after losing to Logan Paul, has now said, psych, it was all a joke. All the posts I made about Nina Agdal, it was all just a big joke, even though the courts got involved. So we're going to have to discuss that, all this other stuff. Also, it looks as if the youths of America hate romance. At least that's what this survey says. They said that they're sick of seeing romance and sex in movies. And we're going to go through this article. There's a lot of statistics that are listed in it, so I'd like to go through more than just the base level of it and get your guys' take. The survey was it was surveys 10 to 24-year-olds, so it's a little bit outside of this realm here. Mm-hmm. But that means Gen Alpha, I guess, starts at that 10-year-old age range now. So it's mostly millennials, some of Gen Alpha. We'll go through the data. It's a lot of fun. So we'll talk about what it means for society at large. We got a $20 super chat here from Kevin I have no idea if it's pronounced Corbat. Mm-hmm. It says, listening live from work. Much love from the Great Lakes State, y'all. Is the Great Lakes State Michigan?
That's Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Michigan too.
I almost said because Minnesota's the land of 10,000 lakes. You can have the Great Lakes. We'll take
Our lakes are great. We have 5, but they're phenomenal.
You have that.
Actually, we have a lot of lakes, but the main ones, the Great Lakes, are the 5.
Yeah, but don't you guys have that governor who got abducted but not abducted?
I don't want to talk about that. Can we just talk about the lakes?
Okay,
That's really
the lakes are good.
That's really the highlight of the state.
You have Eminem.
Let's not talk about the politicians.
You have Eminem. She's like, that's not much better. So we got a bunch of other stuff to get into, so we will get started. By the way, guys, big announcement here. So the video game channel will be going live tonight at 5 p.m. following this show. Gamermates, I don't know who's going to be on it, but they wanted me to let you guys know that you should go in and tune in over there right at 5 p.m. I have the page pulled up here, so you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you have not. Ooh, I went straight from 2 people on screen to 4 people on screen. I skipped 3 people on screen because I'm apparently very bad at my job. You can go follow the channel right now. It's youtube.com/gamermaids. So you can follow that channel right now, and everyone can go and subscribe. I suggested this. So they're saying that this is going to be a very cool thing where people from PCC are going to hang out and play video games and stuff like that. I think they need to have the IRL guests play video games. I think that would be cool.
I bet there's going to probably be a lot of different guests
like
in time.
I'm picturing like last night, if Kash Patel was here, like he could have played video games. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be 5 to 8 p.m., I think, or like at least 5 to 7
or 7:30.
Yeah, they're not going to go till 8
to be determined.
Yeah.
So guys, go ahead and subscribe over there. I want everyone to go and hang out after the show today, so it'll be a lot of fun. All right, now if you ladies are ready, now that we've done all of the housekeeping, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, first things first. Paris Hilton is very mad, ladies and gentlemen. She's very mad because apparently people have been trolling her and her son, which I don't think is the nicest thing in the world to do. But she's saying that it's unacceptable because she's posting photos with her son. His name's Phoenix, which is it's very current year, but he's an adorable kid.
I know
this because Taylor said so.
I have baby fever, though. I love babies, but he's cute.
And people were making fun of the kid. It's not the nicest thing in the world to do, but you know what? The thing is you put stuff on the internet and you can't really control what you're going to get back, which is always a problem.
Yeah.
There's a
$20
super chat here from Retrocalypse. I always miss that one. Mary gets it right every time. I'm very bad at it. Says, sub to Gamermaids. Also, did all you get your Taco Bell last night? Yes, I have an update, ladies and gentlemen. So Tim did, in fact, order a crap ton of Taco Bell last night. First, he ordered like a large order for today, which unfortunately gets here like right as we go live, so we miss out on that.
We should text someone to deliver us some Taco Bell mid-episode.
And you can go ahead.
Perhaps Wesley, fetch me that Taco Bell.
No, because I'm anti-eating on the.
He'll be the Taco Bell boy.
There will be no eating on stream. I do not eating. Sorry.
You don't want like a chewing ASMR video?
A mukbang?
No. So if I was able to get the girl that I was talking about yesterday. If I could
Big
get
Mac
her,
girl?
if she could come and do it, she can eat a Big Mac in one whole bite. She can eat a whole Big Mac in one bite.
I could eat a taco in one bite.
But could you eat a Big Mac in one bite?
I don't eat Big Macs.
What about a cheesy gordita crunch?
Minus the cheese.
I did eat. I don't know, 3 of the cheesy gordita crunches last night. Because I got done the show here at 5, or we got done about 5:15. I got done editing by about 7:15, and I was about to go to the store to get something to eat, and they're like, "Can you do IRL?" And I'm like, "Sure." So by the time we got done with IRL and the food showed up, I was like, "I don't like lettuce or sour cream," and I ate 3 cheesy gordita crunches that had all of those things because I was like, at that point, I would have eaten anything.
Poor Brett.
Yes. Well, lettuce is just too healthy for me. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So this is what Paris Hilton said. She says, living life in the spotlight, comments are inevitable, but targeting my child or anyone else's for that matter is unacceptable. This hurts my heart more deeply than words can describe. I've worked hard to cultivate an environment that is all about love, respect, and acceptance, and I expect the same in return. You can't really do that on the internet. Like, it's a great idea, but that's just not the way the internet works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get back what you put in most of the time. That's just the way things are. Says, if I don't post my baby, people assume I'm not a great mother. And if I do post him, there are some people who are cruel and hateful. I'm a proud working mom, and my baby is perfectly healthy, adorable, and angelic. I've dreamt of being a mom for as long as I can remember. Phoenix is my world and has been the biggest blessing in my life. Every day with him is a reminder of what truly matters. It's hard to fathom that there are people in the world who would target such innocence. It's the internet, unfortunately. That's going to happen. Like, I mean, this is why back in the day it was such a big thing. Like, when celebrities would have kids, like the tabloids would pay large sums of money to be able to post the first photo of like some celebrity's child, right? And a lot of celebrities are smart, not all of them, but a lot of them are smart enough to know like they keep their kids out of the public eye for as long as possible, right?
Yeah,
because
and
there's no good that can come of it.
I don't think that people, at least most normal people, assume that someone's not a good mother if they don't post pictures of their baby. In fact, a lot of people choose not to post pictures of their children on social media to protect them.
Yeah,
I agree.
But regardless, it's still messed up that people are attacking this baby's looks when the baby's really cute. It's not even true.
I'm going to be honest. Maybe the most toxic environment in the world is one place and one place in particular, and that's like mom Facebook groups. From everything that I've heard from women, mom Facebook groups are like
you in
super
any
toxic.
mom Facebook
No,
groups?
but we've talked about it on here where they're very, very, very catty and not nice to each other, and judgmental to each other.
Huh.
I haven't used Facebook in 2 years, so
I haven't used Facebook, and I don't know if I've never really used Facebook, but
yeah. So not good, but yeah, what can you do? I think she'd be better off just not posting pictures.
Right. If it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, it's better to just not post pics of the baby.
I'm gonna start my own mom Facebook group now.
yeah, you should.
The only positive mom Facebook group.
Skater moms of Maryland.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. It's gonna be great.
I mean, either way, if you're a celebrity, I feel like it's inevitable that eventually paparazzi or somebody is gonna take photos of your baby.
Right.
And nasty things are gonna get said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna post pictures of your kids, you think, once you have them?
I haven't thought much about that, but if like off the top of my head now, I'm leaning towards no.
Right. Same.
Unless it's like in a very private space for like friends and family. If I have a separate thing set up at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think that you need to do that. I understand people are really excited and they want to share what's going on in their life. And I don't judge people who do post photos of their kids because I get why they do it. But I feel like it's better safe than sorry. And it also protects the kids' privacy.
To your point, I do feel like a lot of public figures would benefit from having like private accounts that for just family and friends where they can share that stuff where, you know, like you have to learn to not care what somebody who follows you but isn't part of your life in general thinks about you as a mom because you don't post pictures of your kids.
Yeah, and like a true fan or someone
do,
who supports you would respect that decision.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully the bullying stops. Stop bullying the kid.
Yeah, don't bully babies, guys. That's not cool. That's like the most punching down possible. It's a little
really
human.
Lean over to punch down on that.
So, also, I mean, not just that, but what I was thinking about is like the kid can't consent in a lot of ways, right? Like the internet is a big part of the internet now is about the idea that you get to choose whether you are or are not part of the internet, and a kid doesn't really have a choice in that. I mean, I feel the same way about like family YouTube channels, which are proven to be more often than not pretty toxic.
Yeah.
And bad for the families because when you mix money and fame,
child labor, in a way.
and free child labor with no regulation, like you get bad things come of it, right? So it's like if that kid is young enough, like I get back in the day, it's not something that would have been considered a discussion to be had, but now with the permanence of the internet, kids have to be able to wonder once they get to a certain age, did I really want pictures of it? Because what if your parent is famous or something like that, or you end up becoming well known and then you don't have control over what was released for you when you were younger?
Yeah,
it's just something to consider.
And considering Paris Hilton's one of her most famous things she's most famous for is her tape being on the internet without her consent. You would think that she would maybe think twice before posting photos of her kid because she knows how cruel the internet can be.
Wait, Paris had a tape?
Yeah,
leaked?
she did it first.
Oh yeah, okay. So Sara once sent me this video.
Oh gosh,
was that you sent me the video where it's like they did like a 9/11 tribute at the end of Paris Hilton's sex tape?
No.
Yeah, apparently there's like a 9/11 tribute at the end of the Paris Hilton sex tape.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm speechless. You guys are both looking at me like I have the right thing to say to that.
It was like an Instagram video that got sent to me that was like the craziest thing I ever saw was that at the end of this tape, it's just like justice for the fallen or something like that. And it's just like, what does that have to do with porn? I guess. Yeah.
Who cares?
All right. I don't know if you guys are hurting in this economy. I think everyone's hurting a little bit in this economy. But one place where people are really suffering right now because of the economy being as bad as it is what they call funflation, which means you're getting priced out of doing all the stuff that's actually fun to do in the little free time we have these days after the 9-to-5 job, which we talked about yesterday. Oh, by the way, I saw people arguing about... So yesterday we watched this video about this lady she's upset that she has to work a 9-to-5 job
Oh, I
now.
saw this, yes.
And when we started that segment, I started kind of like mocking her. And then by the time it was done, I was kind of like, maybe I shouldn't mock her for like, it's just kind of everyday.
Well, I clicked on it on Twitter and I ended up like reposting it and like quote tweeting it or whatever you call it now that it's not Twitter. But
Twix.
At first I was like, oh, this is going to be ridiculous because all these big accounts are sharing it. And then I was thinking like, I kind of feel for this girl.
Yeah.
Because especially young women are told that they should seek a place in the workforce and be like a girl boss, and they don't consider alternatives. And I think that a lot of women who stay home and live a more traditional lifestyle and raise kids are happier. This isn't like the rule, but it seems like based on the people I know that would be a very fulfilling lifestyle and one that one day I would like to live.
I saw your tweet about that.
Yeah, like I felt for her and I was like, why are we dunking on this girl? I don't think people should film their meltdowns and put them on the internet necessarily, but she was being honest.
As meltdowns go, it was fairly tame though.
She was clearly having, she was clearly having a difficult time with the shift into working full time, and I felt kind of bad for her that all these people were hating on her.
But now you don't even have time to do what you want to do, and you don't have the money to do it
like
either.
The video, it was pretty relatable for a lot of people.
Yes.
So why hate on her for saying it?
So it says nearly 60% of all Americans are reducing their spending on live entertainment due to skyrocketing costs for amusement parks, rock concerts, and performing arts. Like, look, what was it? The Blink 182 tickets were like upwards to several $100s to go to a concert. I just saw some celebrity, some comedian paid $20,000 to go see Taylor Swift.
That's insane.
For like floor level access or whatever like that. You go to the movies right now and you pay $18 for your ticket, and then you've got to get your drunken fries. I have to have my fries every time, right? And my drink. So you pay another $20 for stuff like that. It's expensive. It's expensive. And that stuff's, and that's a little different too, because it's like, at the very least, I can justify that because I'm doing it for work, right? Like if I'm going to see a movie, most of the time it's because we're going to review it in some fashion, or I'm going to review it separate. So you can justify that expense. But if you've got tons of bills and tons of stuff going on, like, there's places where you make your cuts. Did you ever see that article about the woman who wrote, it was like the guy who wrote the thing about stripper economics? It was a girl, I think. And basically said like she could predict when a recession was coming by the drop in revenue at strip clubs. So I mean,
that's where it starts.
Funflation.
It's the first thing to go.
Yeah, exactly. So
and then the amusement parks.
26%. I imagine the amusement parks go first.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. It says the phenomenon known as funflation by one analyst is the most recent indication that President Joe Biden's economic policies are crushing American homes. Approximately 26% of those who responded to the study stated that they don't pay any money at all for live entertainment, up to 16% prior to the epidemic. I think they mean pandemic. But yeah, like, do you guys find that, like, were you amusement park people, or do you go to see a lot of live music?
If I had to choose between the two, I'd probably do live music.
Oh, I would choose the roller coasters.
There you go.
I like both, but I don't do it often. But I haven't been to an amusement park in years, and I used to go every year.
At least once a year.
Yeah.
In Michigan?
Michigan does have an amusement park, Michigan's Adventure. It's a Cedar Fair park, and it has the best wooden roller coaster I've ever been on. Shivering
There's no
Timbers.
such thing as a good wooden roller coaster.
No, this one actually is a good wooden roller coaster. But like, we used to take like weekend trips out to Cedar Point,
Iowa.
That is Ohio.
Ohio. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why I said it like that.
Minnesota had like Valley Fair, which was always really, really big, or you could go to Six Flags in Wisconsin. I was never a huge amusement park person. That was never really my thing. But I had friends who would make a trip of it a couple times a year.
That's something.
Or also,
Every
like
once in a
during
while.
Halloween, they would do like Halloween, like out there.
Oh,
where they
I've
like,
always wanted to go to one of those.
yeah. So it's like those are like right now, if people have to cut it out of their budget because of the economy, stupid. Well, by the way, I have to check and make sure the crisis meter is up today because I want to make sure that Taylor gets the full brunt of it.
Okay, cool.
Gosh.
She gets the full experience.
I'm gonna get shot with.
We're
some
good,
money.
guys. So when it does, we got a $20
Hit
one
me.
here from Tony Guevara. Says, "Ree." He said it, not me. I sneak into the floor level. You just pretend you look belong there, and security doesn't ask typically. Yeah, always the number one thing is to just look like you belong.
Yeah,
where
like
you're
or
walking.
dress up as a security guard.
Oh, there's a guy. There was like a
But how do you
TikToker.
get in?
There was like a TikToker. He would do a thing where he would just go around. He would wear. He had like it said like it was like a generic thing that said like press badge, and he has a camera, and they'll just let you in anywhere.
Yeah, basically.
Not good. Not good. That's not you're stealing.
You know, one thing I was gonna say is the reason I haven't gone to amusement parks in a few years though isn't even that I don't want to save up some money and go do that, because I like to occasionally go do something and save money and go have a day, but it's because they have like pride events at all these amusement parks now, and they're all woke, and I'm like, do I
they're
really
all gonna
want to
be-
go
they're all
spend
gonna
a few
be like
$100
that.
You
there?
remember we were supposed to go to Busch Gardens, and it was like
Oh, it was talked about.
sometime
Did
in July.
Did anyone ever go?
We didn't end up going because we were going to go with like family and friends, right? And then the weekend we were going to go, I believe it was a Pride weekend celebration. The month after Pride Month.
We could have gone in like American flag shirts
Yeah. I mean,
and just had people throw
just-
tomatoes at us.
it's because it's pandering, right? That's the problem for me.
Yeah.
Is I'm like, I don't want to partake in any big corporation that's just pandering to people.
They all pander. That's what being a big corporation is pandering.
Yeah, there's levels.
That's the point of it.
Yeah, true.
It's like by carrying stuff you want at Target, they're technically pandering to what you're buying.
I don't shop at Target anymore. I
because of the
stopped.
boycott?
Yeah, I've actually, that's one I have continued to boycott, and it has done me so well. You know how much money I save not buying makeup and skincare
Bunch of
and
stuff
crap
you
that I don't
Marshall's-
need.
Marshall's got the deals anyway.
Oh,
which you introduced me to.
We've been going to Marshalls.
Yeah.
I like Marshalls.
All right. In more TikTok news, this one is, did you guys ever see this story about this woman who was arrested for scamming $37,000 from her followers with a fake cancer diagnosis?
I heard about that.
Well, the crazy thing about this is, after all of that, she got probation. She
That's-
got no jail time.
Wait,
for
she got
this.
fined as
She
well,
got
correct?
fined. Yeah, she got fined $39,000. So it says TikToker Madison Russo has been fined $39,000 but avoided jail time following the elaborate scam where she faked having cancer as a way to get money from viewers. You wait till you read the reason when she explains herself in court of like why she did this. It's the saddest part about
No,
this
I
whole
like
thing.
to assume this, but I'm not sure. Did she have to pay all these people back their money? Did they
That's what
get
I was
their
wondering.
Well, that's
donations
what
given back?
I don't think so. No, I think it's likely just the fine.
I assumed she's paying the state, right?
Yes.
Of wherever she's being tried.
What about the people who are like, I want to do something nice for
I
this
know.
TikToker I like who's sick?
It's,
What about their money?
It's not good.
Right.
I
Or
would-
she should have to donate it to a cancer fund. at
I'm gonna
least.
read you her statement as to why
Okay.
she did it. She says,
We're
"quote
ready.
A lot of people have made speculation as to why I did this and how somebody who looked like they had everything together could have been such a mess." She said, "I didn't do this for money or greed. I didn't do this for attention. I did this as an attempt to get my family back together."
You're like trying to just smile. Thoughts, Taylor? Seems wholesome, right?
I think that she did do it for attention.
"I fully acknowledge that what I did was wrong, and I'm incredibly sorry," she said. "If there was anything I could do to take it back, I would. The reality is I can't." That's a
Like,
fair statement.
Was
but
this supposed to go on forever? This lie?
If she wasn't caught,
Like,
how long would
stories-
it
her
have gone on?
family,
this are
her
very-
family would come together and
Yeah.
they'd all want to be with her because she's sick, and
Yeah.
she would just keep up this lie forever because eventually it was going to fall apart.
Right. She did it to bring awareness, not for the money that she got.
She did it to bring
that she
awareness
also
about
spent.
online scams. Now you know.
Stories like this are very common now. Like there's more than a few of these.
Yeah.
Where they get caught and then they're like, how long did you expect this to go on for? But they're not thinking that far ahead, and that's
Right.
the scary part of it right there.
It's
but I just
messed
thought
up.
the explanation was like, I would have been completely fine if she's like, look, I wanted the attention and the money. It's like, you're a bad person.
least
but
you're
at
honest.
least
Yeah, at least
Yeah.
you're not
honest
lying
about it.
under oath.
Well,
now.
I feel like the people who this is the most unfair to are people who are actually dealing with crisis
If you're wondering what that is, ladies and gentlemen, if you were
War
not
cry.
here for the show yesterday, that is in fact Ian Crossland giving us his very best Roberto Jr. impression. Frankly, I think it was spot on. As someone who has like a desk right outside of the
IRL.
Chicken City.
right
Chicken
outside of
City.
Chicken City, and has heard the chickens, I think he was spot on. He captured his
Yeah.
essence perfectly.
It's an uncanny imitation.
Yes.
What I was saying though was that this is really messed up for people who are actually dealing with cancer or other illnesses and starting a GoFundMe or a Give Send Go, because people are now going to look at that and be skeptical when in a normal world where people did not do this type of messed up scam, you wouldn't even think that someone would lie about something so horrible.
Nope, you would
Yeah.
never imagine that it was possible.
Yeah, this has made me hesitate to donate because I'm already hesitant because I don't know where the money's going when I donate to a relief fund. And now the more and more I hear about this kind of stuff, I'm like, it makes me like hesitant to want to donate to strangers.
That's why I
This is
give my money, like
unfortunate.
whenever there's a I much rather just give the money to the homeless person who I know is going to spend it on alcohol. I don't care. Like I don't. Like look. It doesn't bother me.
Keeping it real.
It doesn't like I get it, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like at least
Like,
I
go
know.
have fun,
like,
buddy.
Worse is when you go to the freaking grocery store and it's like, would you like to round up to give your money? I'm like,
I
oh my
always
gosh.
say no.
my
Yeah.
favorite is the meme. It's just like it's like, would you like to round up to give money to the poor? It's like, I am the poor. Like it's.
yeah.
The point
Sorry.
being that, like, look, I don't mind the one-to-one transaction of giving a homeless guy money. Now, there was like a family that would constantly sit out, like like the last place I lived in Minnesota, and every weekend they would sit outside of like the gas station and with a sign. And I did not like that when you bring your kids into it because they're like we're going to be homeless. And no, like
to try to get more sympathy.
like,
Yeah.
and you're turning your kids into like, if you're an adult and you want to try and scam me out of $5 so you can buy whiskey, like you're not gonna scam me, but I still might give you the $5. Like that's
Or
what
some
it
of
is.
them have signs that are very honest, like need money for booze.
Yes, and
Like-
even then I will absolutely give them the money for that. Like there have been times where I'm very sad that I'm not carrying cash because the sign is so good.
I
You're paying
don't.
for the honesty.
Yeah.
I don't typically give money out on the street, but I always tip street performers.
Yeah. Oh
Every
yeah,
time.
absolutely.
And then
Because it takes courage to do that.
I typically avoid donating to strangers or things where you don't know where the money's going, but I will absolutely donate to like somebody I know or I like heard of a story that touched me in some way and it's pretty clear where it's going and that it's legit.
Right.
But now you have to like do your research and make sure you're not getting scammed.
I give money to GoFundMe's or Give Send Go's pretty frequently, like because like look, if it's like it's usually like people involved in the skating community, right? So it's I know them or
That's
I know
what
the
I'm
people
saying.
Yeah,
You
there's like a
know,
mutual
Yeah.
person
there's
that
some
you know.
connection that you know where this
I
is
don't
going.
I don't mind doing that.
Same here.
Like, I'm very
Yeah.
blessed to have like the life that I have right now. I'm very lucky, so I don't see anything wrong.
But
with that.
I
But I'm
always
not
say
give- but I'm
always
not-
say no at the grocery
But
store.
I am never going to give that money to the Red Cross because I don't know if it's actually going there.
Yeah.
How the hell do I
Correct.
know?
Yeah, we don't
Right?
know what the Red Cross is doing.
Yeah, screw the Red Cross. Kidding.
Whoa,
it's a
whoa.
joke. Bill of the People says there are multiple channels with variations of gamer maids. Will not have. It says will not have know the correct one until an actual video of one of these lovely ladies show up. I tagged it in there. So it's right here. It's GAMERMAIDS. It's
Look for the banner.
It says looks for the banner. Yeah, it says live at 5 p.m. So it should be right there. It's got the G, the X, and the M, and it looks like a plus symbol. So please go ahead and subscribe there, guys. It'll be a lot of fun. $20 super chat here from the Maniac Mustache says, "Hey gang, late as always, and apropos to the patriarchy, my wife, as my how often I think about the Roman Empire." I think he means ask me how often I think about the Roman Empire. I said, only when you broads bring it up, which proves that we live in a gynocentric society. Thoughts? How do you ladies ever think about the Roman Empire?
No.
Ever?
Not particularly. But what does gynocentric mean? Not to sound dumb.
Female focused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
But I mean, I bet you more conservative women think about the Roman Empire than liberal men.
Yeah, probably.
Because of all the talk that has come in recent years about societal collapse and the great American empire collapsing, I bet you there's corollary and overlap there.
Yeah, or people who spend time on the internet. It would be interesting to ask someone who doesn't have an Instagram or any social media if they've ever thought about the Roman Empire. I feel like that's the true test. And if he says no, then it's it's like a psyop.
I need to ask my dad. I bet you my dad does.
Yeah.
For like years, I never knew what to get my dad for his birthday or for Christmas, so I just got him books on war because that's what you get men in there.
Yeah. Didn't your dad fight in Nam?
My dad was in Vietnam, fought in Vietnam, but my dad loves to. But my dad's a big reader, right, and loves to read about famous battles and stuff like that. $50 super chat here from Crispy Leg Transport LLC says, "Good afternoon. I'm going to sleep after the show. I started driving today at 3. Have anyone on the panel seen The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Not in years. Not in when I was very, very young.
Never seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Is it good?
I've heard about it.
I don't even remember it, but I have. My brother loved that movie. So, 3. When you say 3, I'm assuming he means because he says 0300, so he means 3 a.m. That's must drive for work.
Ooh.
I used to drive. I used to deliver medical supplies. That was my favorite job I ever had outside of this one because it literally was just me in a car for 12 hours a day listening to podcasts and listening to music. And podcasts weren't even really even podcasts.
Now
like,
you are the
podcasts weren't
podcaster that the drivers listen to.
Oh,
Exactly.
whoa.
That's why I tell the people in the people in the chat know this. That is the biggest compliment you can give me is when you tell me that I keep you from being bored at work. That we keep you from being bored at work. That's the biggest compliment you can give me. Or even if we make you more bored at work, I guess it means you're listening. So it is what it is. All right, guys. The Rock, they're updating the statue. I feel like I've done 3 updates on this stuff. Yeah, you can see the guy. They're gonna color it in.
Hilarious.
They're gonna make so that what happened is there's a wax figure of the Rock that was made. He's basically pasty white. Ended up looking like just not the Rock.
Yeah, like
right?
Vin Diesel,
He looked
maybe?
like more like Vin Diesel than the Rock.
Oh.
They're already working to fix it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Nice.
Here comes Ian again. Ian's my favorite part.
I gotta listen for the Roberto Jr.
Sounds just like him. Sounds just like him, does it not?
Yeah,
No? Doesn't sound just like him? I think it sounds just like him.
Some correlation.
Actually, we tricked you. Wesley recorded that of Roberto Jr.
Yep.
Well, before
That was
we lost
Roberto
him.
Jr.
Yes, that
doing
was
an
actually
Ian
Roberto.
Crossland impression.
All right, guys. Let's talk about Britney Spears quick, shall we?
Sure.
Because did you finish the book?
I did. I listened to the last few chapters on 2x just so I could get through it before the show. So I don't know how much of that I caught, but I did finish it today.
Well, it looks like the book is going to break records. She's getting 25% of it, so it's actually quite good for her. What were your takeaways from this? Because I've seen a lot of buzz on X of people talking about it, on Instagram of people talking about it. What is your takeaway from all of it?
Okay, I'm pulling up my notes.
She's
right
got
now.
notes.
I do have
in the meantime,
so many
we've got
notes.
a $20 super chat here from the Maniac Mustache. Says, "I feel like the world was better when women ran the world from the kitchen. My wife increased my super chat budget." Thank you. Well, I mean, that's what they've always said. Like, this is why marketing is marketed towards women, right? Is because women run the pocketbook in the home anyways. So that's why you got to advertise to women majority, because no matter who's paying, the woman is paying, even if the guy made the money.
Yeah. And they're more persuadable. So should we really be the ones in charge? Anyway, all right, back to Britney Spears. Speaking of finances, so one of my biggest takeaways from this book is that it seems like Britney Spears seems to constantly forget that she is Britney Spears. Like, she doesn't realize how big of a celebrity she is. It is kind of cool. She is still, like, she's always kind of been that, like, country southern girl from Louisiana. She talks about collaborating with Madonna and how it was kind of like she was almost nervous to ask her. When at the time it was like after their kiss. So Britney was huge at this time. She was probably just as big as Madonna, I would assume. And she talks about approaching her to do a music video with her, which she does. And then she kind of complains about Madonna being a bit of a diva. But she also learned from Madonna that if you want to be the center of attention and you want to be in control of your career, you have to be the one to set that precedent and set that standard, which I think Britney tried to do at certain points throughout her life, but was barred from it due to the conservatorship, obviously. The amount of money that her dad was making every month off of this conservatorship is kind of wild. I mean, considering he was doing nothing, he was making $16,000 a month.
Must be nice.
Yeah, just to be her dad, I guess. Sit on the couch and give her orders. So she talks about her co-conservator, I think her name was Lou Taylor. So she created this talent agency and basically got Britney Spears on through the conservatorship, which helped grow that talent agency that was like brand new and had just popped up. And she made 5% from her circus tour, which brought in $130 million. And even when the money wasn't coming into the company was still being paid a flat fee of hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So this woman, Lou Taylor, who was in charge of Britney's conservatorship, was constantly being paid by it, but made more when Britney was performing and working, even though she was so mentally unwell. At the time. She couldn't. I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. It's like she was unwell, but the whole idea of a conservatorship is someone is like unfit to care for themselves, but she's still fit enough to do tours constantly and interviews, you know?
When you're sick, you're only sick to them for as long as they need to get you healthy again so that they can put you back on the road and use you because you're an instrument of income for them. Right.
Absolutely. And anytime she tried to speak up, it sounds like that's when they would stick her in rehab. Like, it kind of correlated. Yeah. They would drug her up. She talks about thinking that her family was trying to kill her at one point, and friends contacting her being like, we're concerned that you're going to harm yourself in that center. And she basically was like, I'm not going to harm myself, but I am afraid that my family may try to like do something that severe, which was pretty wild to me. She kind of talks about Jamie Lynn and how when she, like, the conservatorship first happened and Britney had just shaved her head, Jamie Lynn and her mom are kind of parading around as though they're the victims of what had happened to Britney. And Jamie Lynn was being praised in the media, even though at 16 years old, unmarried, she became pregnant. But Britney was the bad girl, right? So not that, I'm not saying that Jamie Lynn Spears is a bad girl. It's just that compared to what Britney had done and the severity of the backlash towards Britney Spears, it was just unfair.
Yeah. And they were acting like they were. I heard Hillary Clinton say once that women were the primary victims of war. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just the other thing that I thought was really interesting was, given everything you said about how much they pressured her to keep working, to keep doing this. There's this really interesting part at the end of this article where it says, one source says the unsung hero in the success of the book is Britney's best friend / manager, Cade Hudson. Multiple sources tell TMZ that Hudson repeatedly pushed Britney to write and finish the book. There were times when she wanted nothing to do with it, but Hudson pushed her, and eventually, belatedly, it happened. Now, that could be because Hudson thinks that the book will be cathartic and help Britney deal with a bunch of past emotional trauma? Sure.
Yeah.
But anybody who has financial stake in you finishing a project, I'm just saying that that echoes the same type of thing that happened to her, albeit back then it happened in a far more exploitative fashion.
Yeah.
And when you're a member, when you're a celebrity of her level of fame, you're always a product that's being sold to the public no matter what you're doing. So whether it's your social media posts, whether it's your next tour, whether it's your next single, there's always a group of people who are going to benefit from you doing the work. Right? Which is why I think it is so dangerous to get involved with friends, people you consider friends for work, right? Because then motives start to blur and people don't know exactly where my desire for you to get catharsis by writing this book ends and my desire for financial benefit when you finish it begins. Where do those roads meet and how much does it bleed into one or the other? Better to just not involve your friends in the business process if you can avoid it, right?
Yeah, and especially family.
Exactly.
Because it took her 13 years to finally call the cops on her dad and say that he's guilty of conservatorship abuse.
Yeah.
And that must have been hard.
And it took ages for her to get out of what she was going through, right? So it's weird because they're saying this book is gonna break a bunch of records. It is funny. I remember I was at the store recently. Now I don't remember who the other book was. There was 2 books for sale. And one of them was Elon Musk's book, and one of them was somebody else. And whoever the other person was so unimportant that I don't even remember who it was. But Musk's book was all sold out. And the other person's book was just like pristine.
I wonder why.
And untouched, right? Because Musk is a person of public interest right now.
Right.
And Britney Spears is kind of omnipresent in American culture to some degree. Right? She's always going to entail some level of fascination, especially with older millennials who grew up at the time when she reached that level of fame. Yeah. And certainly with the Free Britney movement becoming as big as it did, what was it, 2 years ago? Yeah. Now, there's a lot of money to be made. They said that more than 400,000 copies have already been sold, and the trajectory looks to put north of $1 million copies being sold. So that's
Isn't
a
it
lot.
like the #1 selling female authored memoir or something like that?
Probably. Yeah, probably. So I don't know. Like, does you're both? So I'm older than both of you. Like, was there a level of interest in Britney Spears when you were growing up? I imagine that it's probably less so.
No, I love Britney
Really?
Spears. Also, I was the youngest by 5 years of my siblings, so I sometimes was a little bit exposed to stuff that slightly older kids were listening to. But I really liked Britney Spears, but now at my age, looking at like child stars now, I feel kind of sad.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh no, you're headed in a bad direction.
Right.
And it became very common for people who were famous very young to kind of have spirals.
I think a lot of people, like, there's less of an excuse than ever for like parents with kids to not know. Like, there's no excuse now to not know what danger you put your kids in by allowing them to enter that industry. Would you let your kids act? If you have kids, like when you have kids, you're going to let them act if they wanted to, or model?
Like act in like a play,
Movies.
like
would
a
you
movie.
Would you let them try to pursue a career in acting?
I probably would advise against it, and not until a certain age if they really wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Like maybe wait till you're an adult. I don't think I'd want a kid to be exposed to like Hollywood. But I don't know. I feel like I'd be surprised if I had a kid who wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you never know. I mean, some like it's like a lot of the ones who seem to be the most successful.
We're
right?
talking about my hypothetical future kids. I don't have any kids yet.
A lot of
these are questions I haven't thought about yet.
You'll have to think about it
I know.
one day, and then you can thank me later when I help you.
But if I've got like a 4-year-old that's like, Mom, I want to be in movies, I'm gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
Like
that was me. I really wanted to act when I was a kid. My parents, I think they thought it was kind of like a phase, but what I did was musicals and stuff like that.
I'd be fine with that, like performing arts, or like gain a skill, like learn to play an instrument. If you like to sing, like work on that.
Right.
But it's good to have those skills if you're going into that type of industry anyway. So
yeah. So it's like when you're young, you can put them in musicals and like plays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then once they're an adult, if they really want to go try to make it in Hollywood, then I would be supportive of that.
Yeah, I feel like doing plays as a kid or some sort of performing arts is different than like taking
Being
your kid to
thrusted
auditions
into,
for
LA.
big stuff when they're little and don't really understand it.
There was almost
Totally.
more of an excuse for the parents not to know back then before the internet. Now I feel like the veil has kind of been lifted there, and the average adult knows that whatever you think of Hollywood now, bad things happen behind the scenes.
Britney Spears, Amanda Bynes, Lindsay Lohan, Demi Lovato. I mean, like
You
Corey
know,
Feldman.
I was
go
saying
on
Jeanette
and
McCurdy.
on.
You know who seems to be doing good?
Who?
Hillary Duff.
I was gonna say, dude, she is like
She's
Hollywood's
the exception, I
Yep,
guess.
Yep. Her and Selena Gomez, maybe.
I
Not
think
as
she's
much.
Mary
talked
would be the person to
about-
ask about these questions more than me. But
Selena Gomez, she has like a makeup company and she had like music career, but I think she does talk a little bit about like mental health issues.
But they all
If
went
I'm
through
thinking
it,
of the
right?
right
They all
person.
still had to go through the period where you were the one who's like, "Did you ever see this video of Ariana Grande?" And I'm like, when I watched that video, it was shocking to me.
What video?
And then
Clearly, you've brought it up a couple times,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
What-
wow, I almost
what
feel bad
video?
that
It's just it's this video that's
It's a video that should end Nickelodeon.
yes, it should.
Like straight up. I don't even think it would be appropriate to like show on air, but basically to sum it up, it's a bunch of outtakes from when Ariana Grande had her own show. Do you remember what it was called? It was like a spin-off of another show.
Not Wizards of Waverly Place, was it?
No,
It
that's
was,
totally
No,
different.
it was a
That
spin-off
was Selena Gomez,
of something.
right?
Yeah, that was Selena Gomez. But anyway, she had her own show, and there's a bunch of outtakes of her doing these things that a child wouldn't realize was lewd, but
Yeah.
any adult could look at that and be like, that's completely inappropriate.
I think I might know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there were producers and stuff who were, or I don't know what their job was.
Yeah,
exactly,
directors or whatever. Mm-hmm.
I
She's
think
gonna-
And like if you were a parent who had a kid involved in that sort of thing, I feel like it is very important for you to be present the whole time.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
don't just trust other adults who are potentially going to exploit your kid.
Who make money off of this, who have something to gain.
Also, I would feel weird if like my kid was the breadwinner.
yeah.
I'd be like, there needs to be some sort of hierarchy here.
Yeah.
And if you're the one making if you're bringing in all the money, like, is that kid gonna respect me?
That's the thing.
Like
Who
I'd
makes
be
the
like, you got to
rules?
clean your room, and the kid would be like, I bought all that stuff, mom. Like,
Apparently, Jamie Lynn was kind of a brat. She wasn't even the one bringing in the money.
Yeah, brat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it would be very, very. I think most parents these days know that getting your kid involved in an industry like this is just going to be very, very bad for their mental health and their future.
yeah, I
It's
feel
usually
like
selfish.
back then it's possible people had some good intentions and thought this is a great opportunity, but I don't know that they all had good intentions.
No, very rarely. All right, what would you ladies like to see, cute or cringe of the day? I'm open to either.
You have a
Cringe.
All right.
Cringe first.
Oh yeah.
Cringe first.
Wait,
All right.
where is it gonna be over here?
Yeah, I'll put it on screen here first. So I got a couple here. This first one.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Here
I'm
we go.
laughing. I can't stop thinking about that video I sent you guys before we started today.
Here we go. This says, so guys, it says, what day did we decide to protest outside Planet Fitness and give out free pizza? Was this Saturday?
Be fat now! Be fat today! Come on down! Be fat with me! Be
Thoughts?
It's just a one-woman protest.
It's just a one-woman
Wait,
protest.
first off, isn't Planet Fitness the gym that like has pizza nights?
I have no idea.
Isn't that the
Sign
gym
me
that's
up.
like
Might be
anybody's welcome?
Yeah, it's like the affordable.
They're
gym.
also a gym that their policy, and you can go check this on their website, allows for whomever identifies as a woman to use the women's locker room. So keep that in mind if you're going to Planet Fitness. They have been sued multiple times.
But you could also just be fat outside there, not have to
But,
worry about that. That's what I would do.
there are
That's what I'm
people-
going to do. I would have gone to this protest with her if I had known it was going on. If there was pizza involved,
if there was free pizza,
if there was free pizza,
Come on.
I would have gone.
I'm just here for the pizza.
I'm just here for
But
the pizza.
I don't know. I don't think it's particularly great to glorify being overweight or unhealthy.
No, it's cringe,
Like,
as a matter of fact.
If
in this
if you're in that place, you know what? It's your life, and if you want to better yourself, I'm here to cheer you on. But I don't think we should glorify it, and it does lead to health problems.
Yep.
So
All right, and I've got one more. I do
great.
have one more.
Good.
This
it
says,
on.
I've been getting so much hate and even unalive threats for wearing a tail in public.
Oh no.
Yes.
And even unalive threats for just wearing a tail in public. So I'm going to be wearing a tail all the time now. All these haters are clearly slimy weirdos who hate themselves with nothing better to do and are either cowards or never go outside. Most of the comments are nice and I've received nothing but compliments in the real world. They know nothing of the real world and live in delusion. Today I was complimented by a woman in a thick bendy hat at the market and a man at the sporting goods store who said he wants a tail now too. My friend made a good point that it's pretty much just transphobia in disguise. What a sad life they live. I hope they are able to feel comfortable with themselves one day, because putting down others like that screams insecurity.
Wait, did they say transphobia?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Thoughts?
What?
Like trans. Okay.
trans
So a couple things
trans
here.
animals?
The most insufferable part of this isn't just the tail. It's the fact that she just goes on and on and on, and she keeps wagging it. She keeps wagging the tail. That's what bothers me. Secondly, is this a furry thing?
I don't know.
Is this a satire?
I think it's real, man.
I mean, that's the beauty of the world now. You can't tell anymore.
Well, don't threaten people on the internet.
No,
That's
you should
not
never
cool.
do that.
But
Right.
this feels like satire. And what is she talking about? Transphobia.
No idea.
Is it now like a LGBTQ
I have no idea.
WXYZ tails?
The beauty of
Like,
this is,
why
I don't
is
know.
Super
that-
Saiyan tail. So Dragon Ball Z.
Why are they
Nobody-
trying to put everything under this umbrella? It's getting ridiculous.
I was wondering what your thoughts were. Is this is it real? Is it fake? It could be satire. I have no idea.
I think it's real. I think most things are fake, but I think that this one is real. And if it's not racist, it's transphobic somehow.
It's the beauty of the world we live in now, that we're so controlled by algorithms and by the ridiculousness of the world that I have no idea if what I watched is serious or not. I've found that in the last year of doing this job, I've developed this unbelievable sense of apathy to all of it. I don't care anymore. Like, they're ruining my favorite franchise. I don't care. This person's wearing a tail in public and calling people bad for making fun of her. I don't care. This person did this. I don't care. Like, I don't.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I don't. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. I don't care.
I
The world is burning. In a lot of ways, I think in a lot of ways it's algorithmic, right? So the world is far worse to you on your phone than it is when you actually go into the real world, right? Fine. But as I see all this stuff, there's a huge difference between seeing all this stuff shown to me on my phone than there is if I saw something like this in the real world. Maybe something like this would affect me more if I saw it out at Planet Fitness during the fat protest. I don't know. But I know that as long as these things are continuously showed to me on the phone and on a computer, I don't care. I don't care anymore. It's fine.
I'm just confused
fine.
at calling
That's
it
fine. No idea.
Yeah, does anybody see
if
the
the
correlation
world
there?
burns tomorrow and I'm next to a fat lady protesting at Planet Fitness and a weird furry lady with a tail, I will accept my fate and say whatever.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap.
See, like,
Culture war, blah.
when I was younger, there were a lot of kids who would wear crazy outfits and crazy hairstyles, like emo kids, and they'd have like the crazy bangs and
Eyeliner,
and,
guy liner.
like insane makeup, but they didn't care. That was part of like dressing different and presenting themselves different. Was I could care less what you think.
Now they tell you they don't care while making a video. Like my favorite thing is the people.
But this
who
person
are like,
obviously cares.
Yeah.
My favorite are the people who's like, when you make like a response video to tell people you don't care. When they're like, people told me not to wear this, so
I just wanted to get on here real quick and say I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, it's like, you don't care so much that you made an entire video about it.
And
Now,
edited
I want
the
to talk
video.
about the practicality of wearing a tail. What
Yeah,
if you're
let's
like
hear it.
in an elevator and it closes on your tail?
It's a great story to tell people. That's amazing.
You could get hurt.
How do you sit?
Oh yeah, it's kind of like my lifelong fear of getting sucked into an escalator. Which I'm deeply afraid of. I've always been deeply afraid of.
Did you see that story about the airport?
Yes.
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh yeah. I used to like. Okay, so
Sorry to put your mind back
There's these
there.
videos-
That one
you
was
can watch-
really
there's
bad.
this video where
wanna
this guy's
watch.
going up an escalator and the escalator isn't flush.
Oh, I don't know.
And he basically
wanna
gets
know.
pulled into the escalator and that was like my biggest fear growing up was getting stuck in an escalator.
I had a dog that was deathly afraid of escalators.
Smart dog.
And yeah, no, she was very smart.
That's why Dane. That's
Smarter
why
than
Mitch
us.
Hedberg was correct. You can't really even break escalators. Temporarily stairs. Broken escalator is just temporarily stairs.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Not a fan. Not a fan. But yes, the world is burning. I don't care anymore, man. Like, I think it's just exposure therapy. You get exposed to enough of this stuff every day, and you're just like, whatever, dude. Am I gonna make it to work on time?
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, am I I get far more worried about things that affect me in the real world, like whether I'm gonna get the show done today,
Yeah.
whether people are gonna actually watch the show, like all these things that actually matters. A weird Gen Z kid wearing a tail in public doesn't rate. But it is an interesting thing to talk.
Yeah, I feel like there's always been weirdos running around.
Yep.
It's just a matter of which ones you want to hang out with.
But if you wanna be the weirdo, don't worry about what other people think.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't make videos telling people to stop bullying you. Screw those people.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's go ahead.
know?
Now that
Like if
we are,
you're gonna wear a tail, you got to be tough.
Be proud.
we've got cute of the day still. I've got palate cleanser, ladies and gentlemen.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
why I like to do it this way.
Okay, so first here is from Michelle on Twitter. It says, cats with thumbs, you say? Just call Ernest Hemingway. PCC Pets. Meet Callie Buttercup, Cha-Cha, and Peachy Double Paws.
Peachy double paws.
Uh-huh.
Aww.
Have you guys ever been to the Hemingway house?
Mm-mm.
Wait, go back.
They all have like extra toes. Yeah, you never seen this?
No.
What is it called? Like pterodactyl?
Oh, there's a $20 super chat here from John Stewart. Says, especially
Pterodactyl.
depending on how the tail is attached, some are basically a belt, others are held. Wow, that's a lot. I
It's
don't
the
know.
logistics of a tail. It's a polydactyl cat.
That's
I didn't
what's-
know that this was a thing.
Yeah, it's really cute.
It says Cosmo doesn't have thumbs, but he has a lot of charisma.
To make up for the lack of thumbs.
That is adorable. That is adorable. Let's do one more here. This is from Candace Powers Henderson. Says, hashtag PCC Pets, hashtag cute of the day. Here are some pics of Mittens, a.k.a. Mitty. He has 7 toes on each of his front paws and loves opening doors, drawers, cabinets at 3 a.m., scaring the crap out of me.
7?
7.
I didn't know that was possible.
Impressive.
It looks very tranquil
Yeah.
while sleeping. Oh.
Oh.
That would be doubly painful to get scratched then by 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
By
7 claws.
7 each?
Yeah.
Is that 7 on each paw?
Exactly.
It's like what, like 28
Yeah,
claws in
man.
total.
Instead of 10. What?
Ooh.
All right, guys. Now that we are 59 minutes into the show, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So, if you don't know what's going on with Jonathan Majors, he plays Kang in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is also an actor. He was in Creed 3 recently. That was probably the best thing that he's been in. And he was arrested earlier this year on complaints of domestic violence with his, at the time, girlfriend. The charges, there was strangulation charges. Those got dropped, and what he is left with now is misdemeanor, harassment, and assault, and he is going into court on November 29th. That's when they're actually going to be taking this to court. The interesting thing being that the woman who had originally filed this complaint decided she did not want to and said that the police actually pressured her into doing it, right? And then after that, the district attorney in New York City still decided to go forward with the complaint anyway, which I thought was strange given that in New York City, people just get let out of jail all the time. And he's a celebrity, so you'd think that they would be more than happy to like let this guy off without any complaint.
Yeah.
But they're going forward with it, and now they're talking about they're investigating the fact that in London 6 months before this incident, there was other charges that had been filed against him by someone else. None of this is very good timing because Marvel has the Marvels coming out on November 10th. So Marvel's back in the news. I don't know if he's going to appear in that movie, if he's going to be in a post-credit scene or anything like that. But so there's the similar case in London, but now the woman woman who initially laid the charges against him is looking to be arrested today. Her name is Grace Jabari. And she's supposed to surrender to New York City police today because he filed a counter claim against her saying that she was actually the one who did that. So she's going to be arrested on claims of misdemeanor assault as well. Is this the type of thing for you guys where if you hear about a celebrity and like domestic issues, does this keep you from, like, if you were going to go watch a movie or listen to a musical artist, does this type of thing prevent you from wanting to watch their work or listen to their work?
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Exactly.
It's like there's another accusation every other day. So, and in this case, it's weird because she tried to retract it.
Yes.
So it's confusing, but
also,
not necessarily. Like, I can tune out to an extent. There are some people who I'm like, I don't really care enough to watch their stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part with this stuff, I'm like, I can't take any of it seriously because there's so much of it and you never know the truth.
That was sensibly to my point when I was saying earlier about how when I see all this stuff going on and I see a woman with a tail, or I see this crazy stuff and I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I feel the same way about most of this stuff in media because I'm never going to know 100% for sure that they're innocent or guilty of any of this stuff. And the lack of certainty for things like that just makes my brain turn off. Like I can't look at them as a value judgment on morality towards art. All I can look at them as is somebody who's making something that it's my job to then review or talk about. So there's a business-like transactional relationship there that is probably different from something that you're consuming for the sake of entertainment or joy. Like you might have a harder, that's actually really interesting. So you might have a harder time watching a movie with somebody who's done something you think may have been detestable because you're pursuing the viewing of that or the music, or if you're listening to something, you're pursuing that for joy, for pleasure, for entertainment. Whereas a lot of times when we're reviewing these movies, I get a lot of entertainment out of a lot of it, and I do enjoy what I'm doing, but there's a business type aspect to it that makes it easier for me to sort of ignore that, right? Like I talk a lot about the concept of separating art from artists. And I'd like to believe that I'm very, very good at that in this realm. There are a lot of movies that have themes that I don't like, but an actor with awful views on politics or stuff like that, it's not going to stop me from watching their movie or appreciating their work.
If they're not that good in the first place, then I'm cool to let it go. But
what do you mean?
Like if it's something I don't care that much about watching anyway. Yeah. But if it's an actor I really like for example, I don't know exactly what he said, but I said something to Wesley one time and he was like, Sean Penn's like really woke. Yeah. And I was like, I don't care. I love Sean Penn. I love Mystic River. Yes. I love Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I love I Am Sam. I love Sean Penn. I think he's awesome as an actor. Yeah. Do I want to listen to a speech about politics from Sean Penn? No.
I can get you into I'll get you a copy of his documentary on Zelensky and the pictures of him and Zelensky hanging out. You want that?
Are you going to try to ruin the movies I like?
Yes.
Nice things.
It doesn't bother me. I was just like, it's
sometimes I don't need to know everything.
Robert De Niro, right? Robert De Niro, super bad Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh no, him too.
I'm still gonna watch Heat and love the movie Heat. It's still gonna be my favorite movie of all time. It's not gonna stop me from loving that movie. Same thing with Al Pacino, also kind of nuts.
Keanu Reeves.
Here, okay, I got another example as a counterpoint. R. Kelly. I'm cool with not listening to R. Kelly. Yeah. Trapped in the Closet wasn't that good. Yeah.
if it's an artist you don't want to, So funny thing about Al Pacino. So there's a thing in the news today where he said they're like Al Pacino's out for because he's in a relationship with a woman named Noor Al-Falah, who's like 29 and he's like 83 or something like that. And they're like he's out to dinner with her, and the picture is her like moving fast in front of him, and he's like kind of trailing behind, just looking even older than normal because it looks like she's walking really far in front of him. It was great. It was great.
Noor is a Persian name.
Yes.
Is she Persian?
She's Persian. But yeah, so there's also through all of these claims with with Jonathan Majors. He also accused the NYPD of racism during this because they said like when they went to his apartment for the call, they like couldn't believe that he lived there because I guess because they said that they thought because he was black.
They thought he broke in.
But now they're saying that now another thing that his lawyers are saying is that the NYPD ignored claims that this woman stole a $7,000 Rolex of his that they reported and then never got addressed. Right. So I don't find these things to be like, because a lot of the discussions that I'm reading about from people in this sphere, they're like, is this, Marvel's problems continue? Now, I could be the exception here because I do it for work where it just doesn't bother me. But I don't buy that the average person cares whether Jonathan Majors has a domestic battery claimed against him. It's not going to prevent the Marvel diehards from going to see a Marvel movie. They're going to go anyways. They're going to eat the slop. They're going to say thank you. It won't stop them. And I don't think it's going to hurt his box office in the future. It might hurt him because like he had several ad campaigns that he was running at that time, all that got pulled because of this stuff. But it's almost like this weird correlation where it's kind of like whenever the really, really politically correct people complain to one of these companies and they fold instantly, right? They're like, don't do that. Like, and then they immediately apologize, pull the ad, whatever. Like, they still do that, even for the people that they support, right? So all they have to do is wait like a month. And this stuff, like, our attention spans are so short now.
Let things blow over.
Our attention spans are so short. Our memories are so short comparatively because you're just assaulted with new news and information all the time now.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you a lot of the people who didn't know anything about this are like, who's that? And like, didn't something happen? And then they're like, oh, I don't know. Like, and then they won't even know. Was it against him? Was it of him? Like, they won't know.
Was he found guilty?
Yeah.
Was he just accused?
And Marvel seems to have done the best thing for themselves, which was like they didn't fire him. Like, he got let go from an ad for the U.S. Army. But Marvel just kind of took the wait and see approach, and it doesn't seem like it's going to hurt him at all.
I feel like you still have to approach it innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, you should.
And when you're firing somebody based on an accusation, you're doing the opposite.
There's a $20 one here from Fresh Meat 999 says, haven't been in the loop lately. Went to AZ to Pew Machine DACA. Here's 20 for Brent for actually doing his job in making a crisis party sound effect. Oh, is that my job? Is it?
Yes, Brent.
Brent. Well, it's, they love to call me anything but my name now. It's very sad. I feel very abused by the chat. They're very rude to me.
The abuse, right?
But the abuse is very serious here. But yeah, I did make a new crisis party sound. Look, it's not easy to come up with new stuff. For a while, I was doing a new one every week. For like the first several months of the year, it was like a new one every week. And then my Adobe Premiere presets got messed up, and it got rid of a bunch of my like logged files in my bin stuff, and it just made it very difficult. And then Carter made this really, really great one, so we just left it for a while. Mm-hmm. But now, they see the joy on my face when the new one comes up, and they super chat because they like the joy.
Yeah,
that's what they like. Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know. The stuff like this it's not going to prevent me from seeing a movie or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I would say not at all. I'd like to say maybe like if it's bad enough, then yeah, and they're like for sure found guilty. But if I'm listening to my Spotify shuffle that I've had for years and has thousands of songs and like 30 Seconds to Mars comes on, I'm not going to skip it.
Jared Leto?
Yeah, Jared Leto.
You know who I actually don't listen to though?
Who?
Kanye.
Don't listen to Kanye?
Mm-hmm.
See,
Done with that.
I still look, I grew up with Kanye. So there's stuff there. This is the other argument that I make in a lot of stuff is like a lot of it is like, it's like with movies, right? So stuff that I like imprinted on me at a certain time that's reminiscent. It speaks more to me and what my life experience was at that time than it does about that artist. I ruined Scream for her when I told her that Harvey Weinstein produced all those movies.
I forgot about that, Brett.
Because
that's
why'd you have to go and remind me?
And the point being that when I watched that movie,
what else? I think he produced Sling Blade.
Yes.
And Sling Blade is out of print. You can't buy it. Yep. So I have been scouring. I've been scouring all these stores. I now have 2 copies, and I'm getting backup copies just in case you really can't ever get it again. But
when I watched Scream,
people like Wesley and I were talking about that potentially becoming an issue, that movies produced by him will be out of print because of that. Although I'm not sure that's the exact issue.
More than likely, I believe what would happen is they would sell the rights to someone else,
Yeah.
and then somebody else would re-release it.
Yeah, I guess the rights just haven't been bought again.
So, like, for me, like, if I listen to Kanye, I don't think of Kanye. I think of what those songs meant to me at the time
What you were doing in 2011.
Yeah, like what those meant to me at that time, and that's why I think it's important to be able to separate art from artists. Now, if it's one of those ones that hits you someplace really, really severe, you know, right there in your heart, and it bothers you, that's fine. But for me, like, if I was the idea that you're going to watch any Hollywood movie and imagine that entire cast and crew of people doesn't have one person who did something that you disagree with, you're not going to find that.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
So it's the way it is, but it is an interesting discussion to have, because these celebrities are going to have more stuff like this happen. Because like I said, the New York State attorney went after him. I didn't expect them to do that.
Yeah.
I expect them to be like, he's a celebrity, he's big and famous, Marvel is huge, let's just get rid of it.
I would assume that means they have enough compelling evidence against him.
I guess. I
want to
guess.
pursue it.
I
or
mean,
feel
if
like
they're
they
going
have
to arrest the girl who accused him, they must have some evidence there too.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of, like, the what did the guy in the cab driver say? The driver of the car say in the article?
Oh yeah, she's psycho like my ex-wife or something like that. Something along those lines. That's not exactly it, but it's actually.
I wonder if Mr. Majors paid for that. He's like, oh yeah, she's crazy, like my ex-wife. It's
his current wife.
His current wife.
Miss Jabari was acting like his wife does when she is angry with him, and he called her psycho girl earlier. So I'm like, oh.
I love it. I'm just
wholesome.
It's just very difficult now in a world as connected as the one we live in now to imagine that you can just consume all art and imagine that only the art you're watching, is made only of people pure of heart.
Yeah, and I think about this like blissful family that's living out in the mountains with a farm, just enjoying life and listening to whatever, like watching Harvey Weinstein movies and listening to Kanye and R. Kelly, and people come up and they're like, "You bigots! Do you know what they did? Do you know what you're listening to?" Like kind of like
they're like,
Monty
"I love
Python.
Remix to Ignition. I'm not giving up Remix
and they're
to
like,
Ignition."
"Dude, get off our land."
Well, yeah, that's the meme, right?
No, there's no way to avoid it, and you got to separate the art from the artist sometimes. But if it's something that you don't care about that much and is only going to make you think about bad stuff, cut it out.
Do it for you.
Then it wasn't that important to then the art wasn't that good for you to begin with.
That's what what I was saying is like, if it's something I really genuinely enjoy enough to be like, whatever, then I'll keep watching it, keep listening to it. But if it's something that I'm like, that's not that important to me anyway, and it's just going to make me think of the stuff I don't want to think about, better without it.
Yep.
And I think it's important to not do it for the virtue signal, but to do it for you.
Do it, I do it for me.
Right.
Well, then the difference there is like, then just do it. Don't post about how you're not doing it.
Yeah, I had to come on a podcast today to talk. It came up though.
I am not going to. Wait. To me, that's different though, because that's part of the conversation. It's when they're like, they go on to social media unprompted and they're like, I am no longer going to be consuming this content.
Right. Like nobody asked you.
It's like, I am no longer going to do this. I'm like, bro, nobody needs to know.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Irrelevant.
Let's go to Super Chats.
Alrighty then. From Andrew Jacobs. Hi, Brett. Thank you for doing Mass Live, Mass Tim.
Say that again.
Hi, Brett. Thank you for doing Moss. Live Moss on Tim.
Yes. So yesterday was when Tim bought all the Taco Bell. And like I said, I was here and, there's all this Taco Bell. And I'm like, look, my cross to bear. I'll eat the Taco Bell if that's what I need to do. Somebody also said like, somebody made the joke. They're like, oh man, right before bed, that's dangerous. I'm like, first of all, I'm not falling asleep at 11 p.m. That's a fantasy. Second of all, I have an absolutely atrocious diet. So I am... my core is hardened against anything like that, even having the slightest bit of effect on me. Not going to happen.
And
Sorry.
you ate the lettuce, so it's healthy.
And I even ate the lettuce. If anything was going to cause me a problem, it would have been the lettuce because I'm not used to eating it. Shane H. Wilder.
I discovered Brett's dirty little secret. He actually likes Mocha. Source, he follows Mocha on Instagram. Ooh, unless it's a hate follow, which is weird. Called out.
Wait, does a hate follow? It is a hate follow, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. The difference is Mocha followed me first. Therefore, by the time-honored tradition of social media, I would not have followed Mocha, the derpy, stupid cat, first. But because Mocha followed me.
Mocha's a cat?
Mocha is a cat. Mocha's, it's an awful...
You hate follow a cat.
It's an awful,
pity
atrocious...
follow, really.
Yes, it's an awful... hideous being that
beast
that I hold accountable for its derpiness on this podcast most days.
I don't even know what this cat looks like, but according to Brett, it's
you're better off not knowing.
offensive.
This is like talking crap about Paris Hilton's baby.
No,
just going after this poor cat.
It's not.
Not exactly.
You
but
say that because you haven't seen the cat yet.
Well, you'll have to show
You know, like
me,
we pull
I
up the
guess.
picture, she's like, oh.
Just run out of the room.
By the way, I'm more worried about the fact that people are like spying my follows. That's
You gotta be careful. It's a public.
You can't hide.
it's not good, guys.
All right, high voltage 75. Minnesota may be the land of 10,000 lakes, but its neighboring rival state, Wisconsin, actually has more. Oh, Wisconsin has more lakes than 10,000?
Sounds fake.
No, really, the
Was
problem...
this about
Yeah.
the Great Lakes?
Yeah, sounds like a
we
fake
just-
thing.
No,
to me.
she said Minnesota.
So they're saying Minnesota is the land of 10,000 lakes, but Wisconsin actually has more lakes than Minnesota. Oddly enough, I had a family member who had like a cabin on a lake, and it was in Wisconsin. Not part of my immediate family, but part of my extended family.
Yeah. Well, the problem with Minnesota is that it is part of Canada.
Do not. I feel like you just called me.
Only
You just called me a
issue.
frostback.
And you know what? Take Maine while you're at it.
You just called me a frostback, and
Those
we
two
don't
states.
use that cuss word here. So I don't appreciate that. There was one more from Shane H. Wilder said, Taylor channeling Trump. We have the greatest lakes.
I missed that.
We have the
They're
greatest
huge.
lakes.
That's great.
They're huge. And let's do one more from DC&C.
Okay. Kalamazoo or secret frostback check. Oh yeah, you know, eh? Like totally for sure. Let's go Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo.
Kazoo.
I do not talk like that. I do not have a secret frostback accent. I don't sound like a Canadian. I'm none of those things. I am a Minnesotan.
Say bags.
I'm not doing this. Bags.
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 Everyone I know
Bags?
from Minnesota
Bags.
doesn't say bags. They say
Bags.
bags. It's different. Same with Ohio people. I don't know what it is
Ohio.
with y'all,
Yeah.
but
it's not very nice. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm being abused here. All right, we're moving on, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to hold off on the rest, and we're going to come back here. Let's talk about Dillon Danis, because after all of that, after everything that went into getting this fight off the ground, all of the fighting back and forth between Logan Paul and Dillon Danis, pulling in Logan Paul's fiance, Nina Agdal, with all of the pictures and all of the leaks and everything like that, it ended up in court where she is suing him for releasing revenge porn. He is now saying, it was just comedy, bro. It was just a joke. He says it was just a joke to promote the fight.
gosh, take a joke.
Take a joke, right? I find this to be very interesting for one specific reason. This whole thing led to like actual discussions being had by people about like people were actually saying, does body count matter? Like how much do you care about your man or woman's past? Like people were having actual philosophical discussions about the meaning of relationships and what it means to be in a relationship because of all of this stuff going on. And then she sues him and gets a restraining order. And now they're saying it's what, just a joke for promotion? I mean, are you going to pay back the courts for wasting everyone's time if it was just a joke?
I don't mind seeing some repercussions for just utterly dragging and humiliating someone on the internet, because it's so easy to do behind a screen.
But
right?
all he did was post. Like I'm not saying what he did was like great, but posting pictures of a woman who's been in relationships with public figures is not revenge porn.
Were these like secret private photos, or were they
No,
already
were-
available
they were
on the
already
internet?
available. And then he reposted videos that she had already posted. There's a $20 one here from Francisco Sanchez Jr. says, it's time for Brett to be on whatever. That will never, ever happen. That would be there is literally nothing in the world less interesting than the idea of me on that podcast. I would literally be there like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, if you want to have an
4 hours.
OnlyFans, like, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't really care. Not my thing, but sure. You know, that's what it would be for 4 hours. You will not get the righteous fury from me that you get from Mary, because I don't really care if women want to be whores.
I feel like 4 hours is a long time to sit on a podcast.
It is. And I'm not gonna sit in judgment of a bunch of women who are like, thank you. Like, I get it. Like, I get the judgment. I get it.
It gets better the more you hear it.
It does.
Yeah.
Like, I think a big part of it for me is also that I was such a fuck up. Like, I was such a mess for so many years, and I've done so much in my life that I've had to kind of regain my own self-esteem, and I've had to make up for so many mistakes that I have a hard time at my age, after doing so many things, that I've had to kind of learn to be okay with myself again. I'm not going to sit in judgment of them for that when they're like 22-year-old girls who are reacting to a market force that's created by men. Right?
Very
like,
well put.
Whatever.
I think it does say something. It does say something larger about society, though, that this is now a viable option that a lot of young women think is a good idea. And it's really sad.
It is a viable option because men make it a viable option for women.
Yeah, but what kind of impacts and consequences could it have in the future?
It will have a lot of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're adults and they can make their own choices, and they can learn to live with them later. Now, I would have more to say if 5 years later they do like the whatever reunion and all of these women come back and then complain about like what's happened to them, then I will come and be like, you made your own choices.
Yeah.
You're an adult. Not
Or
my
they
problem.
all turn trad and they come back with their like 5 kids and their goat and their husband. My thing is like, it's very entertaining. However, I don't feel like it's helping solve the problem. It feels more of like a hate watch kind of thing. But at the same time, maybe the shaming and like the humiliation will deter other people from thinking that this is a viable way to live your life and act. So I hope the positive comes from it.
We just watched a woman put a tail on and jump around a bunch of stores because people tried to shame her. So I don't know if I actually buy that works.
Yeah.
I don't watch the whole show. I see a clip occasionally come up on Twitter feed, and sometimes they're pretty funny.
Yeah.
But they've had some really interesting guests on there, though, and they sometimes have good discussions.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's kind of hard to watch, and it makes me feel bad seeing younger women go talk about things that I think should be private things, and talk about like selling photos of themselves online, which I don't really think is a good idea. And then it's out there for the world forever because they decided to go do that at 20.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I wish that you could have your older self come talk to you about why you shouldn't do this right now, because you wouldn't listen to anybody else. But maybe some of them won't regret any of it.
More than likely, some of them will, some of them won't. But everybody wants to approach it with this idea that they're going to get the last laugh in this. And that's just, the world doesn't work in such a linear fashion.
Yeah, and is it somewhat exploitative? Like when you talk about these girls are like in their early 20s, more impressionable, more willing to kind of go on these shows and talk about this kind of stuff.
I've been told by multiple women on this show that women mature faster than men.
Yeah, but also, to my knowledge, this is a show that to go on it, you reach out to them. Correct?
I'm not sure how that works.
Believe it or not, I don't have an OnlyFans, so they haven't reached out to me.
I think that, at least on their Instagram, it says, like, DM us to go on.
Yeah.
Because I get messages like, you should go on whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, man, no, I'd be hungry, like 2 hours in.
Right.
And cranky, and I would just be, like, speechless at the horrific things I'm listening to. I don't know if that's a show for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm just more of the mind of, like, I guess it's not exploitative because they are literally asking for it. I think it's more so like this is what our culture has created.
Yeah.
Is that girls are willing to be exploited and like want to be, it seems like, to go on that show and
or like see it as empowering.
Yeah, or cool. Be like, well, I get to be on this podcast. I don't care if I humiliate myself and look like a 304.
They
or
don't
whatever.
look, in their mind, they don't find it humiliating. So why would it matter?
Good point.
To them.
Touche.
Like, so it says Dillon Danis says his hundreds of social media posts about Logan Paul's fiance, Nina Agdal, were meant to be taken as a joke, claiming that he was only playing the role of a bad guy to promote his recent boxing match. It's funny how the world is becoming more like pro wrestling every day. He's playing a heel in real life, which frankly, I think is hilarious. The former Bellator MMA fighter, I guess he got fired from Bellator as well.
Wow.
Just
because
recently.
of this?
I don't know. I don't think that's what it said in the article that I read. It says in court documents obtained by TMZ, it says in which he says his incessant trolling of the WWE superstar and Sports Illustrated swimsuit model was clearly parody, satire, comedy, farce, or opinion to draw in interest to the fight. So this is what's interesting. So there is no longer this solid line that separates the real world from what is clearly meant, what he claims is clearly meant to be comedy or farce. You don't know anymore. We no longer live in a world with these actual lines. Now, it's funny because he mentions Logan Paul being a pro wrestler. One of the things that died in the early days of the internet was what they call kayfabe, which was the illusion that these guys actually don't like each other because people used to think that wrestling was real. And nowadays, everyone
I was going to say
laughs.
the difference with like the fake wrestling is it was fake.
Yes, but the idea is like people laugh now. They're like, oh, how could you ever buy that this stuff was real? You weren't alive or you weren't around at a time when it was just not that clear. You look back on it, sure, hindsight is 20/20, but now anything you watch online, any type of conflict, whether it's between Drake and Joe Budden or any of these people, right? You don't know what's being done in the service of someone's business or to promote something. There's too much of it. It's why I say every time one of these models or one of these actresses writes, there's an article that comes out and it says, this is what happened to me. I was taken advantage of by a photographer when I was 17. I was exploited by doing this music video. And then I roll my eyes and I go, when does the book come out? Because I immediately assume that everything that we see now is in service of some larger cause to make money. At the end of the day, black, white, doesn't matter. Money is what matters. Money is what sells to all these people. All these people can talk about having all of the causes in the world, having all of these things that they care about. At the end of the day, they will put themselves, their family, and their future first. That means selling out the idea of what a woman is to someone, or insulting another person's fiance, knowing that it's going to ignite conversations between the public about what all of these things mean. They don't care if you know it's fake or not. They don't care if it makes people question what it means for society to be a woman in this day and age. They don't care at all as long as it helps them make money.
This could all be fake.
Yes.
This could all be orchestrated.
Yes.
Even this part of it, you mean, right?
All of it. It's possible.
It's all, yes. In the chat, Pat the Plumber's right. It's all a work, and none of it feels real anymore. Which is why when I look at any of this stuff, any of these topics, I am so detached because all of it is a stage. The internet is a stage. It's just a more complex and inorganic method of promotion, or a more organic method of promotion than we've ever had before. And it's no wonder that kids are confused about what the real world is like these days. When they're like, I was actually pointing out, I said, like, is Logan Paul the closest thing these kids have to a role model who's in the middle of a crypto scam, but at least he went out and beat up another guy to defend his wife's honor, his girlfriend's honor.
He's the guy who filmed the video that showed something that he shouldn't have showed
Many years ago, yeah.
Okay, that's what I had heard about, and that's why I knew his name.
If Mans can come back from that, he can come
when did
back
everybody
from
forget about that?
There's just there's just no line anymore between what is media, what is promotion, what is actual real life consequences or real life fighting between people. Like, I just don't buy it anymore. Like, anytime one of these celebrities, like, it was like when Holly Madison and all these people were writing all this stuff about not Harvey Weinstein, about Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, you're selling me a book. You made some choices in your 20s that you're not proud of, but everyone's gonna try to extrapolate what happened to you at the Playboy Mansion to what it means for them in their adult life, what the relationships are between the sexes based on what a bunch of Playboy bunnies did with the head of Playboy back in the early 2000s. I'm sorry, you're not gonna get me to buy that has any practical relevance to what's going on in the real world. But as long as these articles, these books, these interviews, and these people reach impressionable individuals, it will always have an impact. And the internet is slowly blurring the lines. And no wonder people are kind of losing their minds.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of not being able to tell that wrestling was fake, a lot of people watch these housewife shows as though it's real.
Yeah.
And I can't watch it for more than 5 seconds without being like, this is so cringily fake. Like, is any of that drama, do people believe that it's real?
There are plenty of people that watch the Kardashians and think that it's real.
Right.
It's not.
None of it. Nothing.
The world is just so, like, the internet. I go back to this, and I've mentioned this on IRL a few times. I don't believe the human brain was designed to be able to withstand the internet. I do not think that we were designed for that much information input all the time. There's a reason why you are always in a worse mood after reading the news. There's a reason why staying on your phone for long periods of time puts you in a bad mood or makes you worse than you were before. You're constantly bombarded by information. And we're just talking about social media and how Logan Paul's relationship with his fiance affects society, right? We're not talking about news and politics where people are, we're going to talk about in the next article. One of the things they reference is like kids are being bombarded with constant fear porn about climate change, about all these issues. We as human beings were not designed to constantly be fed information 24/7 without a break. Now, that does not mean that things were good when we had 3 major companies deciding what reality was, but I don't know what the middle ground is. Because I don't think that we were designed to be able to sit in front of this much information all the time and still be okay.
Especially kids.
Yeah.
Like adults have a little bit easier time differentiating that from reality. But kids, I didn't have a cell phone when I was a kid, so it's hard for me to even.
Yeah, me neither.
I think I got like a flip phone that you couldn't do anything but make phone calls when I was like 15, maybe 14. But all you could do was call on it. Like, I don't think I could even text at first. And I didn't get like a smartphone until like later into my teenage years. Yeah. But like, I didn't grow up with a tablet. I didn't grow up like spending a lot of time on the internet. When I was a little kid, like, there were like a couple websites I even knew about, and it was like to play games. That was it. I didn't have social media.
I still have no idea how Minesweeper works.
Wow. Childhood memory unlocked.
Yep.
Playing that on desktop.
Yep. No clue how it works. Lost every time.
Like, I grew up as a kid with like the draw thing on a PC where you could just draw.
Yeah, I remember that too.
You remember that?
And I remember playing Backyardigans or something, like the baseball game, and like back to school, type to learn. Did you guys ever do like type to learn? You could learn how to type really fast.
I think I did that in school.
Yeah, I would do that at home.
Number
too.
munchers.
Nerd.
So I spent my free time.
Yeah, the internet was a mistake.
Well, I don't think the internet necessarily was the mistake. Social media.
Social media was definitely a mistake.
That was a big mistake.
Yep.
There are good and bad things that come along with it.
There are some, there are good. I mean, do you think overall it's good or overall it's been a negative for society?
I think it depends on how you look at it. Like, we can access information to make our lives easier. Like, I can look up how to get somewhere easier, or I can purchase something easier than having to go out and seek it. But also, there's just so much information and so much bullshit and fake stuff. It's hard to tell what's real from what's fake. I don't need to know this much about everybody else's lives, nor do they need to know this much about mine. And then it's on there forever.
Yeah.
And there's no undoing it.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion of if we had to choose between has it done more good and we should keep it, or has it done more bad and we should get rid of it? And I would say get rid of it, personally. I think humans made it this far.
An interesting trial run
it.
to see how we do without it for a while.
Oh, dude, I was talking to Kim about this the other day. Imagine if everyone's cell phones just stopped working. The world would be in utter chaos.
No, my favorite is what I picture is like the head of Google and the head of Apple one day, just to assert power, turn off Google Maps. Or like, and watch.
Good luck.
Watch whole.
People just start veering off the road.
And they just like no, because like okay, so I was watching. I watched Die Another Day recently. Don't judge me. It's people don't like that one. It's not the greatest Bond movie, but it's got this great scene where he's in the. It's okay. It's not a great scene, but it's he's basically he's asserting his power at this thing that he's created that can just swat nukes from the sky, right? And he's like, we'll just swat them from the sky. It's like right now Google would be like, oh, you're canceling our government contracts. Boop. And then everybody crashes and nobody can get anywhere. And they could do that.
Yeah.
If they, I have no idea what the legalities of that.
Oh, I was telling you, I watched that Luther movie last night, and in it they have these just blackmail farms where they have every bit of information on everyone. And dude, I'd put my money on those being real.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
When you first said that, I was like, black male farms, like only black men farming.
Yeah, I can understand that could be very misunderstood, like blackmail.
Then I realized
and then farms.
what you were saying.
Yeah, it's just the world's crazy right now. So to see him say like, "Oh, it was just a joke, man. It was all just a joke." They were just kidding.
Yeah, lighten up.
But you said that it was all photos that were already posted.
Yeah. I mean, he's basically pointing out to the fact that Logan Paul's ex was with a lot of famous people.
Okay, I wasn't saying much because I didn't follow this that much. If you can't tell, I'm not that interested in Logan Paul and his fights and his relationships.
Yeah, I don't think we're the demographic.
For Logan Paul stuff? Probably not. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Oh, righty. From Andrew Jacobs. Hi, Taylor. I'm going to butcher this, so I apologize. Yisrael Chai?
Israel Chai.
Cool. From DC and
that was it? Oh, that's cool that he knows that.
This one's aimed towards you as well. DCNC says, Taylor, did you know the Brett Sta is single? The Brett Sta?
What is stop? I don't get the stop.
Wait, are you Brett?
I guess I'm Brett.
I'm a good friend. I don't speak about my friends' personal lives. I don't even know.
I stay.
Me neither.
I try my best to not either.
Gordon Shumway. I guess nowadays. Oh, I skipped one.
Kevin Corbett.
Michigan Adventure is pure trash. Ooh.
Can you confirm this? Is Michigan Adventure pure trash?
Aside from the greatest wooden roller coaster that exists, it's pretty bad. But there are a few highlights if you're trying to go on a little daycation for cheap, and it's 2 parks for the price of 1. This sounds like an ad.
Got me.
They got a water park, but yeah, like the one good roller coaster is like the best part. But if you go there on a weekday, at least years ago when I would go, nobody would be there, and you could just ride that roller coaster.
That's the selling point for me. Yeah.
Let's do 2 more.
But like. Compared to like Cedar Point, yeah, it sucks.
But it's there.
It's
a staple.
If you're in Muskegon,
yeah.
Let's do 2 more.
Go for it.
All right, Gordon Shumway. I guess nowadays recessions can be predicted not with money spent at the strip club, but rather money spent on OnlyFans.
Yeah, we'll need to ask the OnlyFans models to help us figure out when the next recession is coming.
Yeah, warn us, please. John Quixote. She did it for family. # female Fast and Furious movie.
the lady who did the scam. The lady, yeah, she's for family.
But she wasn't even like I needed to feed my kids. It was like my family's all messed up and I did something really messed up thinking it would undo all the rest of
together,
it.
yeah.
Never gonna work. Never gonna work. All right, guys, let's move on, shall we? This will be interesting given our previous discussion. So this is an article from Deadline. It says, youths say no to sex and romance in plot lines of TV shows and movies. Yes to content focused on friendships, says a UCLA study. First of all, let's go through a little bit of the numbers here. So it says a UCLA study finds teens and young adults are not interested in romance and sex plot lines of most TV shows and movies, while a majority is interested in content about friendships and platonic relationships. The recent Teens and Screens report conducted by the Center for Scholars and Storytellers at UCLA found that 47.5% of teens and young adults ages 13 to 24 think that sex and romance are too prominent in TV shows and movies, and 51.5% want to see the content focused on friendships and platonic relationships. What I think is funny about that is, like, back in the day when the content was more hard to come by, right? Unless you had a scrambler in a box in your house. Like, when it was harder to come by and Hollywood wasn't shoving it in your face, it felt taboo. Therefore, kids wanted to find it because kids want to find what they're not supposed to get their hands on. Right now, it's being shoved in their face, and they're like, the kid's like, I don't want it now, which makes perfect sense, right? You push back on whatever they're feeding you. I think that might be just a reaction to how Hollywood has approached this issue. Right? And there is more, especially in like the HBOs, in the Showtimes, in the Cinemax, like all that stuff. You're gonna find way more sex and nudity on stuff like that, right? I don't see that. That's not gonna be the truth in movies because you're still like the blockbusters are still gonna be a majority PG-13, where this stuff just isn't going to be as prominent. But they go on here. It says 39% saying they particularly want to see more romantic, aromantic or asexual relationships on screen. Does that surprised me in a little bit? What do you think?
That part is strange to me. I can understand, like, oh, I don't want to watch movies with sex and romance.
Yeah.
But is this suggesting that a character who is not having some sort of romantic story going on must be aromantic or asexual?
I imagine those are different things. Aromantic would just mean no relationships at all. Asexual might be that two asexuals can be in a relationship but just wouldn't pursue a sexual relationship.
Oh, this is complicated.
Yes.
I should have asked the definition.
That is the crux of it, right? Is they say that they want to see a more wide-ranging type of types of stories that fully encompass the ridiculously complex social.
I also read this as aromatic.
Yes.
At first.
Maybe that's what it meant.
I was like, they want to see more aromatic characters.
Smelly characters. That's just weird, right? What it is right now is that the youth of today have created far more confusing gender dynamics than we've ever experienced in human history. And the stories right now, Hollywood might pay lip service to them, but they don't expand upon them the way that they, as far as the kids actually have allowed them to permeate their everyday lives. So they want stories that seem to fit more with the way they feel society is going. And also they talk about the loneliness epidemic, that the youth of today are going through what they literally call a loneliness epidemic, meaning that kids are not getting in relationships, kids aren't losing their virginity until way older.
Do you think when like a 20-year-old who doesn't have any romantic life sees a movie with somebody just like having this dream date relationship, they're like, screw that person?
Yeah, no, you make that as a good joke, but I think that's actually part of it. Back in the day, when people weren't as beaten down and as negative about these types of things, something like that was seen as aspirational. And I think women in particular would see those types of stories as aspirational.
Yeah, everybody loves a good chick flick.
Right.
Prince Charming was a possibility, whereas now society's gotten all doom and gloom because you're on your phone all day, because the phone is feeding you bad news all the time. You're in a climate change. The world's ending. Why would I want to bring kids into that? There's all sorts of propaganda being fed to the youth of today.
Facebook was exposed for doing that.
Yeah.
For altering and tampering with people's algorithms to see how it affected essentially their mental health.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there's literally
They're just
mind
lab
control.
ratting these
Yeah,
people.
studies being done on non-consenting young adults and individuals.
So what do you think is why do you think kids are avoiding these? Do you think it is like I believe that they've been doom and gloomed
Pestered
into this.
into it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the ages are pretty young. I will say that, starting at 13. I don't know about you guys, but as a 13-year-old girl, I wasn't thinking about that kind of stuff. 13-year-old boys, probably. So I think the age may have something to do with it. But in addition, like you said, it's like people are bombarded with this on Instagram all the time. OnlyFans is everywhere. Like anywhere you go, it's like we're a very, I don't know how else to put it, but immodest, I guess.
Who do you think is more lonely, men or women?
Don't they say men are?
Men. Yeah, I think men.
And men in general probably don't gravitate towards those storylines as much anyways.
Also, I feel like, I don't know, because I'm not a man. I can't get in a man's head. But I feel like men's relationship or like friendships with other men is different than women's friendships with other women. Like, I talk to my girlfriends about everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're like my sisters. And I don't know that that's the same for all
guys.
men in friendships.
What
are your thoughts on this,
I don't know.
Brett?
I keep it to myself.
Yeah.
See?
Guys don't really talk about that kind of stuff unless you're like really good friends. Whereas I feel like for a girl, it's like that's kind of what makes you better friends is you talk about your personal problems and your personal life and thoughts and stuff.
We're more
I don't
like
think that makes
empathetic.
guys less
Yeah.
good friends. I think they just don't feel the need. They're not wired to have that discussion with each other. They can. They do. Guys do that.
Something I think about too is
do.
The fact that it's not weird for women strangers to hug. Like if I meet a woman for the first time because it's through a mutual friend or whatever, it's not weird to like hug or shake hands or have some kind of physical contact. Whereas a guy is going to go a lot longer without physical contact because it's more taboo for a guy to just hug someone randomly. So in terms of loneliness, it's not just like companionship, but touch as well that I think is way harder for men to come by. So it would be understandable that if you were deprived of this, you don't want to be constantly reminded of that on TV.
Who was it that was, there was just a bit that somebody was doing. He said, I hate PDA unless I'm doing it. who the hell was this? Was it Jeff Dye? One comedian he's like, oh yeah, I hate PDA. It's disgusting. It's filthy. Unless, of course, I'm doing it. Then it's awesome. Like, that's the, because, you see it. And when somebody else is doing it, you're like, oh, it's disgusting. Stop doing that. But maybe there's just a twinge of jealousy from the people there. So this is a quote from the woman who worked on the study. It says, we know that young people are suffering an epidemic of loneliness and they're seeking modeling in the art they consume. While some storytellers use sex and romance as a shortcut to character connection, it's important for Hollywood to recognize that adolescents want stories that reflect the full spectrum of relationships. Adding, the recent studies show that young people are having less sex than their parents did at their age, and many prefer to stay single. Yeah, because relationships are a minefield these days, and social media means that you could be named and shamed in any type of interaction that just doesn't go right. So when you're constantly on edge, when you're told that the world is ending in 5 years, when you're worried that every reaction you're doing is going to be filmed and made into a TikTok, or something, you're going to be called a bad name. Why wouldn't the youth of today be unbelievably on edge about how their behavior will be interpreted by the people that they're trying to engage with, whether romantically or otherwise? It says, this is the other part that I really like. It says, romantic tropes ranked 4th on a list of adolescents' most disliked stereotypes, which include a dislike of relationships being necessary to be happy, male and female leads always having to end up together romantically, and love triangles, which they make fun of because they say that back in the day, like with the Hunger Games and Divergent and all of these movies, like they all had love triangles.
Wednesday.
And, what was the one that Mary likes? The
Wednesday?
The Twilight. But the point being
like
that
Teletubbies?
there's a disconnect here between the people creating the art and the people who are consuming it, and it's just the kids' experiences are going to be very different, and it's hard for a storyteller who doesn't understand that to make an interesting story about that, where it's like, am I going to tell a story about a group of friends without raising the stakes of the relationships. How do you make that interesting? That can be done, but it has to be done by very, very talented writers. And I don't know if Hollywood is really employing them in those roles right now. I don't know. It's I don't know what they mean by full spectrum of relationships, but they're going to need better writers if they want to do that.
I can understand, like not wanting a bunch of sex scenes.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
yeah.
you
I've
ever
always found
been
that
watching
weird.
a movie with your parents and you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know this was in here.
Yeah. It was like, why?
You're like, I don't even want to finish the movie. I want to make an excuse to leave.
The other thing about it is like very rarely, like sex scenes don't bother me unless if they feel earned.
I feel
Most
like
of the
they're
time-
unnecessary
Yes.
when they're graphic.
Even
Most
when I'm by
typically.
myself, I'm like, I feel like I'm not supposed to see this.
Derp Space 9 for $20 says, I think young men today experience loneliness. As we age, it gets much better because guys are more focused on objects. Women are more social. Old age is harder on women who have suddenly or slowly cope with invisibility. Have to suddenly cope with invisibility.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
Good point.
for me, it's a little bit different because I'm kind of more of I'm an asocial person. Is that a thing? Is that I have no idea if that's a thing. I'm
Antisocial.
I'm not. I don't think I'm not antisocial. I'm
No.
not bad with people, but I'm also just not the most likely to go out and go into a large group of people. So that stuff has never really bothered me. I find interpersonal problems to be extremely distracting for me. Like I don't like to deal with that type of stuff, especially if I'm working. I don't like the drama that comes with that stuff. So that's just me personally. But for these
agree.
types of stories, it's like it's still storytelling, right? So stakes have to be involved, and it's very hard to tell a story about a group of 4 friends who are just buds. I've also noticed an abundance of younger people not liking conflict in their movies. They want the characters to get along. Which is weird, like because characters have to not get along.
Yeah, that's the
for
whole
there
point.
to be a
To have
story.
like a protagonist and antagonist.
Yeah, right.
You know what the perfect movie would be for these people? Stand By Me.
Ah,
All the characters get along. They all love each other. There's no romance. And it's wholesome in the end. A little sad, but wholesome.
Do you? So for me, sex scenes don't bother me if it feels like they earned the scene. Very rarely does it feel
If
like
it
they
is
earned the
important to the context of the film, and I also think that like sexual stuff can be shot in a way that it's not so in your face and it's more implied. But I don't really want to like know what an actress looks like naked, or like there should never be a naked dude. That should never be on camera. I don't want to see
Unnecessary.
that. I don't
Nobody
think women want to
does.
see that.
Women don't, men don't.
Like when a movie shows that, I'm just like, my day is ruined.
It's like when
There should be a shot black screen that just says warning. It's about to show a
There
penis.
was like when I was trying to watch the Halo TV series, and I'm like, I don't need to see Master Chief's ass. I don't.
Even like when we went and saw Oppenheimer, I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't need to see your boobs. I'm sure somebody
Oh yeah, you two
appreciated
were the
it.
ones that both told me within 24 hours.
Weird looking.
Yeah.
Weird looking.
I don't want to be rude, but like if you put them out there for the world to see, people are gonna
Weirdly shaped
see them and
pears.
think,
And everyone's entitled to their opinions. I just
So-
thought it was fun.
It says adolescents are also looking to see themselves represented on screen. Again, another thing that I don't understand. Like I'm boring. I don't want to see people that look or act like me on screen necessarily. I'm not interesting.
you see that every day.
I don't want that. So it says their viewpoint has shifted from the last year when the topic adolescents most wanted to see was last described. It says they wanted to see lives unlike my own. In 2023, that position fell to number 9, and lives like my own rocketed to number 2. So kids are, I think that's a growth in narcissism and our extreme focus on ourselves these days. Right? Like we are kind of a more self-obsessed culture than we've ever had in years prior.
Yeah.
And despite adolescent preferences for original stories, superheroes still ranked 4th among the topics they most want to watch. I think that will fall
That's
steadily
interesting.
as well.
That's like my least favorite genre of film.
Yep.
superheroes.
Used to be cool when you had just like Superman and Batman. Now when it's like
It's
every
been
movie
overdone
is,
too much.
So here's the other thing. It says adolescents are looking to media as a third place where they can connect and have a sense of belonging. And with frightening headlines about climate change, pandemics, and global destabilization, it makes sense that they are gravitating towards what's most familiar in those spaces. That's where, like, a lot of times the term bathtub television came from, meaning that you want stuff that's soft and doesn't raise your anxiety levels. I make the joke all the time that there's the 10,000 new shows to watch, the 5 or 6 comfort shows that you have because you've seen them so many times, you know exactly what's going to happen. I think that's become more prominent now, especially for someone like me. I love rewatching shows that I've seen before.
Same.
More than, like, for work, it's because, like, when I have to watch new stuff, I have to pay way closer attention, right? But yeah, as the world feeds you more negative news and propaganda, why wouldn't you look to your media to be somewhat soothing rather than... But the average film director, that's not what they're looking to do. The average film director wants to raise and lower your emotions. They want to take you on a ride. But people don't want that when they can get plenty of that from the actual news, right? So what's the point? They also point out that they desire authenticity more than anything. Mr. Beast's YouTube channel took #1 for most authentic media, followed by series and movies, Stranger Things, Heartstopper, Barbie, and The Summer I Turned Pretty. I still can't believe people watch that show, but people do.
Such a cringe name. I'm sorry.
And for these movies and stuff like this, I just like I find Mr. Beast fascinating because look, he is that. He is just the most normie thing a person can watch. And when you're bombarded by the world's going to end in 5 years, climate change, Donald Trump is destroying the planet, why wouldn't you look to escape to just a guy who blows up stuff and has games?
Same with every industry, music too.
Yeah.
Remember when Running Up That Hill blew up because of Stranger Things?
Not the best version. I don't care what anyone says. The Kate Bush version of that song is not the best version of that song.
Oh, really? I didn't even know there's another version. But
there's like 10,000 versions of that song. But the placebo version of that song remains the best version. Don't at me.
Well, the lyrics of that song are really beautiful. And I remember at one point someone being like, I don't get why this song is blowing up again right now. Like, it's not that good of a song. But I think it's the authenticity of the song. They talk about God. They talk about real stuff. They talk about swapping places with someone. And I think that compared to what we normally hear on the radio, Taylor Swift, not to just always single her out, but any musician or most music that we hear on the radio today, top 40, it is not something that evokes true, genuine feeling that every person can relate to across the board. So, I love that song. I had never heard it before Stranger Things, but I think just as another example of that, that is why sometimes random things will blow up because it actually evoked a feeling in people that they like forgot they had because most of what's being put out there is just being pumped out, meaningless. Doesn't have any like underlying like feeling to it.
I think Taylor Swift has found some magical formula where if you have a combination of antidepressants and birth control in your system, it just explodes when you hear her music and you love it.
That is a great way to describe her. She's like the human embodiment of
like,
that.
It's like Taylor Swift comes on and suddenly the antidepressants, the birth control, and the pumpkin spice latte all rise up in your system and you start doing a weird hyena dance around a theater and it is what it is. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's finish it off with these super chats, shall we?
We shall. All right. From SR71 Industries, Brett, when are we going to get a Fast and Furious inspired channel in part with PCC? I do how to installs, product test, and reviews.
Say it. Can you read that again?
The last part or the whole one?
The whole thing.
Brett with 1T. When are we going to get a Fast and Furious inspired channel in part with PCC? I'm assuming they said know how to installs, product test, and reviews.
It would have to come from somebody of more authority than I, because I just do this. I do the show. Somebody else would have to figure all that stuff out. That sounds fun, though. That sounds cool, though. I want to point out, guys, I saw a chat here from Parodification says the version of Running Up That Hill from the show Warehouse 13 was the best version. He's actually not 100% wrong. That version is really good. I think that's the one by Track and Field. Also very, very good. But back to that super chat. I don't think that I have the authority to put that channel into motion. But
Shucks. All right. Crispy Like Transport LLC. Good afternoon. I'm going to sleep after the show. We already read that one.
Yes,
oh, that was a $50 one.
Yes.
Cool. All right. The last of my kind. Homeless guy, 45N, and Texas State Highway 249. Quote, need money for karate lessons to fight ninjas and reclaim my family's legacy.
Are you
And
kidding?
I gave him $5 and a beer.
I would give him whatever was in my wallet for that. For the creative writing. I would. I have no problem with that. Look, it doesn't bother me. Like, I can't actually give you like a good reason why, but every time I see it, I'm just like, fine. Like, why not? Like, it's just, life's too short. Like, I have enough for now. I mean, I don't have enough, but like I'm in a place right now where I can give $5 or $10 to someone if they're holding up a sign. I was understood why people have like a moral stance against that. I get where that comes from, but that's just not how I see the world.
Yeah, it brings you joy to bring others joy, and who are you to judge, kind of thing. All right. The Manic Mustache. Oh, we already read that one. The Derp. Okay, Derp Space 9.
I think we have one here from James Ornthal Wynn. Says, Brett just inspired me to directly donate a 40 of, I'm assuming that means Old English, to the next homeless person I encounter. Good looking out for the less fortunate, brother. Well, you know, that's what it is, right? They've made their choice. And I do remember reading this very awful article once, though. Minnesota had a thing what were called wet houses, where essentially people who have been to rehab 9-10 times and it's never worked, they just let them go to these houses where they're allowed to drink and essentially die. And that is
they just put them all together.
I mean, I don't know about all, but like there's like, I guess it's similar to like a rehab facility, but it's just they're there, and I think it's on public dime, and it's just, yeah, it was really sad.
It brings into question free will.
Yes,
Kinda.
It does in a lot of ways. Well, I mean, that one, if I had an issue with that one, it would be if it was publicly funded. Like, if that's a privately funded institution, that's one thing. It's another thing. Like, sending someone on the public dole to rehab to get better is one thing. Sending someone on the public dole to die.
I had never
there's
heard
a lack
of
of
that.
Yeah, I've never heard of that in my life.
There's a
Probably
lack
don't
of
talk about that
voluntary.
very often.
Yeah.
There's a lack of voluntary action. Like,
I hope they're
when I give
few
a
and
homeless
far,
person $5, that's a voluntary action between me and that person.
But if
Right.
you're paying taxes,
if
and
it's
that's
you're
where
paying
it's going.
tax, yeah.
You don't know. All right. Now from Derp Space 9. Yes, women run the pocketbook in the home. Not having a wife involved in finances is how I can be divorced and still have disposable income.
There you go. And one more from Derp Space 9.
It is said 25% of adult women in the U.S. are being medicated for mental issues. This means 75% of them are left untreated. Be afraid.
Oh my God.
Brutal, my friend. Brutal.
That was funny.
Yeah, got him.
That's crisis test.
But a lot of women are like on SSRIs and like anxiety medications.
Yeah,
I love
that's
the
the
idea.
lab rat experiment.
That's scary.
I love the idea that now, like, you're going to go to, like, a Walgreens and you're going to be waiting in line for your prescription, and there's, like, a display of Taylor Swift CDs right next to the...
Oh, that's how they should
That's
be
the medication?
advertising that. Yeah.
Well, wasn't there like a famous study that was done where like they boosted the sale of both diapers and beer by placing them next to each other at like a convenience store, because the wife sends the guy to the grocery store to get diapers and he's like, oh, there's beer right there. I'll get beer too, right? Just put them right next to each other.
Good marketing.
There's all sorts of science and like psychology that goes into like in the Targets and the Walmarts of the world pay big money to figure out where displays should have, and obviously, and these companies vie and pay for the best locations, but all sorts of thought goes into where something is sold and advertised.
Yeah, that's why they want our data so bad.
Though I think one of my
can
favorite
advertise to
memes of
us.
all time is like it was like a Doritos display with like it's Final Four season, right? It's got like a little mini basketball hoop, and it's a guy standing in front of a bunch of cantaloupe because I'm about to get kicked out of this store.
Oh no.
Now I want Doritos. All right. From That's Crisis-tastic. Wait, Brett is left-handed? So is the guy from whatever. Are all podcasters left-handed? # conspiracy theory. Breath getting abused lately. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they've been very abusive to me this
You're
week.
left-handed?
Wait, are you still left?
Okay, so I throw a baseball with my left hand. I play hockey with my left hand. I write with my right hand. I shoot a gun with my right hand.
That's weird. I
just
write with
quirky.
my right hand, but
Yeah.
I shoot a gun with my left hand.
Yeah,
Always
and,
have.
everything else I do left-handed, and I like my dominant skating foot is left foot, but my dominant skating foot is left foot, but I kick a soccer ball right foot.
Interesting.
But I was told it
I
could have to
know-
do with my hearing,
I'm
like
just
the
a-
imbalance of my
I
hearing.
know
Right.
skateboarders who snowboard also, who ride one regular,
and
one goofy.
It could be because of
And
the lack of movement.
I think it's for me, I like to ride switch on a snowboard most of the time just because I feel like it's different and I feel like it's probably good for my body.
Yeah.
Like at one point my chiropractor was like, you need to learn everything you do regular switch.
Yeah.
Because it'll balance things out in your body. And I was like, you have no idea what you're requesting right now, Doc.
That's a huge ask.
It's not that easy.
Like in skating, there's people who like so there's some people that can use both feet, but they can only spin one direction, and there's some people that can spin both directions, but they can't use both feet. I can spin both directions fine,
But you
I
do
struggle with my-
right-handed.
Yes.
So I think that's what determines what hand you are, what you write with.
I have no idea. I know, like I said,
Yeah, I
so
don't
much of
know.
the other stuff
Are
that
you
I do is
left-handed?
left-handed.
No, you're right-handed.
I'm right 100%.
Yeah, because I've shot your gun.
Yeah,
and
right-handed.
I had to, yeah.
You switch
But
it
I
up.
had to switch it up.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Or-
Like it wasn't. It was like it wasn't unidirectional. Like
I
the
think
safety was on the
when I
other
was
side?
teaching you, maybe.
Well, you taught me.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but
Yeah. When I taught her, we switched it up. But it's good to practice both hands regardless.
Yes. Oh, like that's like it's really funny because when we shot last weekend, and like I said, this is like a 9mm that's like should feel like it has barely any kick, and since I hadn't shot in like 5 years, might as well have been a 45 for me because I was awful. It was hilarious.
All right. Shane H. Wilder. In my defense, when I followed Mocha, the account already said you were a mutual follow. Wait, does that mean you following me is a hate follow?
No, my friend, that is not a hate follow. Following Mocha the cat is a hate follow. Following you, not a hate follow.
am I a hate follow?
Am I?
I don't actually hate follow anyone. That's other than the
Just
cat.
cats.
Just the cat.
Just the cat.
Just the cat.
Okay.
Life's too short to hate follow people.
Agreed. From Oh My Goodness. Sarah, you're my bean girl. Taylor is mommy. Brett is swag daddy 6'9".
Well, if I still had AOL Instant Messenger, I'd try to nab up Swag Daddy 69.
Mm-hmm. That makes me think of in Britney's book, she talks about how like people used to call Justin Timberlake pimpin'. Because it was like the early 2000s, and that was the terminology they used back then.
Big pimpin'.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perturbed alpaca. Catching up. Don't forget about. Can I say that word? SLU.
I guess we're long in the show.
About slut walks and the like with Amber Rose and other 304s around 2013 to 14. Those 12-year-olds watching learned get the bag straight from Cardi B types.
What is a 304?
It's
Am I old?
It's an abbreviation for hoe.
Got it.
Got it?
Had to-
She's got it, ladies and gentlemen. She figured it out.
Okay.
The wheels were turning.
I had to imagine, visualize.
Yeah. From Camel. IDK if Jonathan
Carnell.
Carnell.
We love camels, though. Carnell.
IDK if Jonathan Majors is innocent or guilty, but there is something to say about him in that timely, seemingly orchestrated cringe video of him breaking up the fight of the teenagers. I demand answers. Yeah. I have no idea what that's about.
There was this random video of him breaking up a fight between two teenage girls, and I'm like, what world am I living? Like, it's like, if that is fake, we are so screwed in society because just anything can be faked all the time.
Or it makes me think of Mean Girls where the coach is breaking up the fight between the two like sisters or whatever, and they're like, Coach, whatever, step away from the teenage girls. Okay. From Didi Mega Doodoo 97. Hey, Taylor's back. Have you met Sara? Yes, we've met before.
This is the first time we've met.
Just today.
No.
Yeah.
No, we were at Marshall's like last week.
Yeah, man.
We've known each other. We
Yeah.
go way back.
Taylor was in my phone actually for Taylor's skateboard for the longest time, and I just changed it to Taylor Silverman. But I kind of like
it
Taylor's
works either
skateboard.
way.
It's still Taylor S. It's just nostalgic.
It's either way, you're going to know who I am.
Yeah. All right. Also, the both of you together make Sara Silverman.
God. Just to clear up any confusion, because I get asked this a lot. No, we are not related.
I was going to ask for an autograph.
It says, Happy Wednesday, guys. How's it going, Brett?
Thanks. I always like being thrown in there at the end.
Is that meant to be from the movie where he's like, oh, hi, Mark?
Oh, hi, Mark. I don't know if that's what he meant, but yeah. Oh, hi, Mark.
Okay, from Dory, leave Britney alone.
We said nothing about Britney. We were like, the funny thing is like these days, like if somebody's saying like I'm going after someone, like I'm the most like dead inside neutral person on most of these issues. I'm like, yeah, could be bad, could be good. I have no idea. Like maybe they're a serial killer. I have no clue.
If anything, it's leave Paris Hilton's baby alone.
There you go. DC and C.
Brett, not bad with people. I think
just
we skipped
risen.
one. Oh, I didn't see that.
So somebody said that they saw.
I just tuned out because it's in Farsi, Arabic, maybe.
I saw somebody was telling me about a shirt they saw earlier. It was a shirt. It was Jesus Christ. It said he is risen. Riz. R-I-C-C.
Yeah. Sorry, DCNC. I didn't see that. Just risen.
Quite black-pilled.
Brett, not bad with people, just bad at parties.
Exactly. Well, bad at both probably, but not as bad as you might think. I am very not when we're done with this show, I go and curl up in a ball and lock myself in front of a television to
He recovers and then comes back. DCNC, make sure you pop a backside method before taking silver. Okay.
I think that's
what
to
is that
you,
in reference
'cause
to?
Me?
I don't know what any of that means because those aren't rollerblading terms.
Pop a backside method before taking silver.
Can you backside in air?
Yeah, you could do a backside air.
Okay.
With a method grab.
Okay. I don't know the terminology for skateboarding.
Okay.
Before taking silver.
What's that mean?
I don't know.
Is it like a play on Silverman?
No, I think taking second.
All right, so
I placed second in a skate contest once.
Speaking of which,
so Sherry Lee.
What video platform do you use?
For what? We use this video platform right here.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Thank you. So I caught it ahead of time. Woo! Thank you, guys. I think they just like the new Crisis Party sound. You know what it is?
It's party time.
I think they miss Ian. I think they miss Ian and they miss Roberto Jr. and they're doing they don't care about us. They care about Ian and Roberto Jr. That's why they're doing the Crisis Party.
We all miss Roberto
We keep him
Jr.
alive through the Crisis Party song. From High Voltage 75, watch your 6, Sarah. Mr. Fluffykins is known to sniff hair, and he's been eyeing you the whole show.
He's if you look at your shot, he's kind of sniffing your hair.
Who's Mr. Fluffykins?
He's behind you.
He's lurking.
He's definitely Biden distance from you.
You know,
coming up from
I had
behind the
no
TV.
idea what check your 6 meant, and Serge used to say it to me all the time.
What does it mean?
It's like you're 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Oh.
Behind you.
Isn't 6 o'clock down though?
Not if you speak in Gen Z talk.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
That's not that's military jargon.
Oh, is it?
This way,
Yeah, but-
not this way.
But it's like a slang term now too, right?
I guess.
I just
but
assumed
it's
'cause Serge
military.
says it.
It's military terminology.
He'd be like, check your 6,
Well, now I know.
my guy.
That's crisis-tastic.
I based it off how Brett wears their watch.
Yes, it is a rare thing to see, and this is something that I was talking to somebody recently, to shoot a gun
Oh yeah, to have it on the right.
on the hand that you shoot a gun with. So, but yeah, that does happen to me.
Interesting. I didn't even think about that. I just naturally put my whoop on my left arm.
Yeah.
I don't wear a watch.
It just made sense.
I started wearing a watch because it was to discourage me from using my phone more, because one of the biggest gateways to start scrolling your phone is just
You
checking
check
the
it,
time,
and then you're
so
locked
now
in.
I
Yep.
can do that. And I'm too lazy to read like an old style clock, so I had to get like a digital watch.
Yeah.
So I had to get that $20 Timex watch.
It was so annoying on the
And
drive, like.
Stretchy band.
Yeah. When we drove to Miami, the car that we had, it doesn't have like a digital time. Like it's supposed to be fancy, so they have kind of like what is it called? Not analog, but is it analog?
It's analog.
Yeah, where it like just spins around.
Yep. You're like, I don't want this.
I couldn't tell what time it was the whole time. Is what I'm trying to say. Potatoes for Seamus. Down with Big Olive. Down with Big Olive. Who's Big Olive?
Big
Justice
Olive
for Mocha.
is the olive industrial complex, because a bunch of the haters in the Discord are also the type of people who don't like olives, and green olives are amazing. So
I love olives. Uh-oh.
People don't
Ruh-roh.
like olives.
people don't like olives.
We've struck
Olives are in like my top 10 favorite foods.
This is a great panel today,
And
ladies and gentlemen.
I go to Costco and I get like a jar of olives that is the size of my head.
Me too.
Dude, have you ever had
And
the
it's like
spicy olives?
$6. It's amazing.
Have you ever had the spicy olives from Trader Joe's or Whole Foods?
I don't
They're
think
like
so.
spiced. I'll bring them in tomorrow.
I
have a tub of them.
I like
It's
black
good.
olives. I like the Kalamata olives.
Yeah.
I like green olives. I like green olives stuffed with a piece of garlic.
Dude, that's why
They're so
like
good.
if I'm gonna order a drink somewhere, I'll get the martini because
Just
of
for the
olive.
olives.
Yeah. You get a little snack
I'd
with
be
it.
like, just give me a glass of olives.
yeah.
I don't need any alcohol.
There you go. Straight to the point. All right, potatoes for Seamus. All hail Taylor. Down with Brett. Happy Monday, Brett. Whoa. That was chaotic.
Whoa. Potatoes for Seamus.
They're very rude sometimes. They're very
Thank
rude.
you. But Brett's cool.
Brett's cool.
It's also Wednesday today.
They also like to gaslight.
Oh,
Severe.
Maybe it is Monday.
we're just stuck in this time loop now.
They're very mad about the olives on there. They're very wrong.
Sorry if I've upset
Olives are-
anybody,
olives
but
are
I stand
incredible.
by what I said.
I'm
Olives are good,
I'm only a green olive person. I don't eat black olives. I don't eat, and
it
I
doesn't
definitely don't
matter
eat
to
garlic
me.
stuffed olives.
Oh man, this is making me
yeah.
hungry now.
Yeah.
All right, Highway Voltage 75. Taylor, you watching any horror movies for Halloween?
Oh, I bet I will. We just watched a movie a couple nights ago. Wesley and I watched. I don't know if I'd call it a horror film, but it's like scary and weird. 1 hour photo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's a thriller.
Psychological.
It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it in a
Robin
long time,
Williams.
and Wesley had never seen it. It's a Robin Williams movie, but it's not a comedy.
That's interesting that Wesley hadn't
Yeah, I'm
seen it.
shocked.
Yeah, and I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to convince Wesley to watch every single Phantasm in a row again ever in our entire lives, but I will try because that's one of my favorites.
He's like, look, my love only goes so far.
You know what else he had never seen that I just made him watch?
What?
He had never seen Kill Bill, which is also not a
Wow.
horror movie, but in my mind,
sometimes
it fits
that happens.
in that category. 'Cause
Like
it's
sometimes
gore.
there are
No.
movies that become so culturally relevant that after a while you just don't want to because, like, I was that way about. There's a couple of them like that I was I can't think of them off the top of my head, but like Kill Bill is one of those ones, like there's so many cultural references to it. I was that way about The Godfather for a long time. Like I didn't want to watch it because I had heard so much so many pop culture references in movies about it.
Yeah.
So when I finally saw it, it was really, really good, but it was never going to be the same thing for me as it is for the people who came about it more organically.
Yeah.
So
like you heard too
and
much about it.
And I've still only seen half of the third one, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Is it the kind of thing where it's too mainstream for Wesley because he's so into films? Because I'm pretty sure he
I don't
literally
know. I
made
think
a
he-
long list of niche random movies
I
for
think
Sarah and Kara to watch.
He just
but
missed
hasn't seen
it.
Kill Bill.
Oh, you know what other horror movie that we watched like earlier this year, and I think it's like one of the better horror movies that I didn't really know about. The Descent. I want to watch that again.
Oh, I recently
That
watched
movie
that
is
again. It's
freaking scary.
It's good.
Like
Yeah, keeps you on the edge of your seat.
I'm not even explain, but like I thought it was just gonna be like claustrophobia, cave diving stuff, and then it takes a twist. And I felt like I like a horror movie that you feel like you need to watch something nice before you go to bed to like cleanse your eyes and refresh.
Axiom in the chat says, Brett, do Five Nights at Freddy's for the cast. It's short. I believe we're going to see Five Nights at Freddy's tomorrow.
Oh, is that out already?
I believe
that
so.
makes sense. Oh, we just watched a new horror film too. I guess not that new. Came out this year. Cobweb. It sucked. It didn't completely suck, but
She said what she said.
I didn't like it that much.
Is Five Nights at Freddy's like Freddy Krueger?
No.
Okay.
It's based on a game, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
From That's Crisis-tastic, don't forget to check out Gamer Maze after this hostage party ends.
Yes, check it out. Gamer Maids.
they're already
technically live
going
now.
They're
I
going
think.
nice.
Yep. Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
Can Brett say badonkadonk in a Minnesota accent?
No.
I don't even know how you would say that.
Badonk. Donk.
Nice.
What just happened?
Serenko Productions. Daily reminder that Taylor Swift is Antichrist. Also, I don't see Whole Bean Re-Rise on the website. I apologize. I actually meant to ask and confirm before I came back on the show because I know you asked yesterday. So far, I only see Ground right now. It doesn't mean that we won't have Whole Bean, but it is a possibility. And I'll be sure to let you guys know. Follow us on Twitter to find out.
There you go.
All right, from Courier626. Garlic stuffed or jalapeno stuffed? Ooh.
Taylor?
First off, you guys are making me really hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with garlic stuff just because I can eat more of them.
There you go.
But I mean, like, olives are good no matter what you do to them.
I always knew you were smart.
Derp Space 9. Green olives with pimento over olives of color.
I prefer green olives with the pimento.
That's like the reddish
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's
Those
what I
are
was
good
talking
too.
about. I have like a thing of that at home that
Yeah.
I'm for sure going to eat as soon as I
I'm
get
going to
back
eat
now.
mine as soon as I get done with the show tonight.
Yeah.
I should bring you some olives. You have I got so many at home. I also, when we go to Costco, I get like the bucket of pickles. It is a
Dude.
bucket. It's got a handle.
You're always hyping up Costco. You got to take me one of these days.
Come with
man.
me.
I want
I
to
love
go.
it.
I will go just to get the $1.50 hot dog. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wesley loves to
soda.
go too because he's like, I'm gonna get a pizza.
Oh.
I'm gonna get a hot dog, and I'm like,
Milkshake.
cool. I'm just happy that you're happy to be here
Yeah.
because at first I was like, he must hate this, and then I realized he actually gets excited to go.
Yeah, and you get your bucket of olives and everyone is
Mm-hmm.
happy.
Yeah. We also like huge tub of mushrooms.
ugh, that
Yeah.
one I can't co-sign that
mushrooms.
one. No, thank you.
Mushrooms with some cheese.
It's such good prices.
J-Spot51.
One of my earliest memories is me and my dad playing Zelda eating olives. Playing Zelda eating olives. That's
That's
a beautiful
amazing.
memory. J-Spot. Oh, that was from J-Spot. All right, from DCNC. Torino 2006 Winter Olympics. Lindsay Jacobellis leading the border cross. Guaranteed gold medal, and she messes up the final jump with a showboating backside method. Takes silver.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know anything about that, but awesome.
I didn't know
Interesting
that.
random fact.
But that would be sad if you like had it in the bag.
I know.
But hey, silver in the Olympics? I don't think that's anything
Right,
to be too
right.
sad about.
That's pretty amazing.
I mean, it's something to be sad about when you were going to get the gold.
Yeah.
yeah.
Seth Essington.
He says, I'm eating a pot of macaroni every dinner, everyone.
I'm so hungry now. This
I
is
know.
awful.
Man, there's going to be Taco Bell downstairs, but it's going to be like 2 hours old.
Dude, at this point, I don't care. I'm
I
hungry
don't
now.
care.
Derp Space 9.
That one's not coming
Okay,
up
it says,
yet.
have to ask what kind of games for the maids? Something good, like RPGs or first-person shooters, or Candy Crush Sims sort of things that chicks seem to like.
I think they're going to
No.
do a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, it will be. It'll be a mix of everything.
I heard some mention of Halo being a
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
I
definitely.
think.
Like I think Halo, Call of Duty, and I think people can also request stuff too, and they'll
Yeah.
download games to play that people want to watch them play.
All right. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Also, go follow Gamer Maids on YouTube because they're live right now, so go ahead and check that out. All right, Taylor, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Let
This
everyone
was
know where they
fun.
can find you.
I am on Twitter or X, formerly
It's Twix.
Twitter. Twix.
Twix.
Is that what we're calling it
what I
now?
call it.
So hungry.
But anyway, my Twitter is TM Silverman, and my Instagram, which I post less on, but still post on, is Taylor May Silverman, May like the month.
Perfect. Sarah.
Yeah, check out castbrewcoffee.com, and you can check out Castbrew on Twitter or X. We are at Castbrew Coffee, Instagram, Castbrew_coffee. You can follow me on Twitter or X as well, at Lady Sells Coffee.
And I want to thank you again for helping out this week. Thank you so much.
It's so much fun. You make it easy.
I think
For
a
real.
couple more.
Yes, a couple
Chats
more have come
Okay,
through here.
rolling
So
in. They want to
DD
keep us from our taco.
Yes, DD Megadudu97 says, "Are you guys gonna review Slaughterhouse? Also, glad that you two are hitting it off." And he said that twice. He like really needed for that to be sent. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna review that. I'm like right now we've got Five Nights at Freddy's, and I think after that is the Marvels. That's November 10th. We might have a couple in between there, but the movie season's kind of lightening up now.
Wait, who are they referring to hitting it off?
I have all three of us.
Okay, great.
Yes.
It says you too.
Are you gonna? I thought maybe they meant that show you do Friday nights.
Oh,
Do you do reviews on that show?
No.
Okay.
No, but I will be doing that this Friday. It looks like this Friday. So, and then also one from Wolfpack Productions says, "Late to the crisis party, and it's a hostage party." Well, you better hurry up. If you guys want to get a fifth crisis party, you're going to have to do that quick because we are about to be done here.
We're hungry.
Yes. If you're looking to
Yo
do so,
quiero Taco Bell.
it's because they want to prevent us from going downstairs and eating. Plus, what I've also noticed is when the show is coming to an end and I'm like, my blood sugar is crashing, I slur my words even more than I already do. So, guys, I want to thank all of you for... High Voltage 75 says, "Hungry, huh? Let's discuss Thanksgiving food now." I'm not doing that. DCNC says,
Sure.
"Taylor, let's hear some inline insults." Hey, go ahead.
You mean fruit booters? No, I'm just kidding. Rollerbladers are cool. I skate with rollerbladers. Would I do it? No.
Here's the thing. We do live in a generation full of wusses. And one thing that you learn growing up is that you have to be able to take an insult or two from people. For instance, people in this chat can be rude from time to time.
Yeah.
And when I go to the skate park and people are nice, I'm like, I miss the good old days.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's hating on inline. Anyway, I don't know if you guys have seen Brett hit a handrail, but like it's hard to make fun of that. It's pretty gnarly.
Exactly. There you go. Take that, ladies and gentlemen. We've got one more from Deep Derp Space 9 says, "You think you're done." That's cute. Shane H. Wilder says, "Go eat tacos. Live Moss. Taco, taco, taco." Well, they're still holding on to us here. We are we're about 3/4 of the way from a fifth crisis party. I don't know if we're going to get there. But guys, thank you again for joining us today. Again, please hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. We are very close. We're getting closer every day to 75,000 subscribers. We're on that road, so subscribe. Hit the like button, notification bell, because I want everybody to be able to be notified anytime a new episode goes up, anytime a new segment goes up. It helps us very much. Also, share the videos with your friends. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dazovic on both of those platforms. Overdressed for $5, or is that €5? I can't tell. Says, "We don't do Thanksgiving here, but a really crispy schnitzel with French fries is so tasty." Now I'm very hungry. This sucks. Derp Space 9 says, I razz people I like, Brett. If I'm polite, I probably think you're too much of a bitch to handle it. That's very sweet. Thank you. DD Megadudu97 says, "Don't know why that sent twice, and it meant Sara and Silverman."
Oh, okay.
But here's to the hostage party.
We've been hitting it off for the past year.
Yep.
Sarah and Silverman.
Yes,
like
it's both of you. It's both of you. We're getting closer every day, ladies and gentlemen. So 5 days, Pop Culture Crisis is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't mind me while I try to multitask while doing the outro. If you would like to listen to the audio version of this podcast rather than watch it, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you would like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show. You should go and submit your pets there. Hashtag PCC Pets, hashtag Q to the day. Tag me in it as well. So popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We are very close to that fifth crisis party. If it does happen to come through in the outro, there will in fact be a post-credit scene. So and from Dory for $13.99 says, "Can you explain to me how to perform open heart surgery?" Yes, I can. but I'm not going to. So we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, with another episode tomorrow. If a Fifth Crisis Party comes through, you will hear it. It will be in the outro. See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye,
Later.
guys. The rest of this.
Gotta go, guys. Bye. That's for the one I missed yesterday. Bye.